Bitcoin's price makes a new high today as the bulls continue to march, but over the last hour or so, price has flipped to the downside. And the question is, for intraday traders at least, do you think the price will make a new high, or do you believe that we are going to continue to correct for the rest of the day and possibly moving into the weekend? Let's look at the altcoin markets as well and see what the broader markets are doing in reaction to the continued election results. Join me for Breaking Bitcoin, guys. All right, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Bitcoin. I'm your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst at Cracking Crypotcurrency. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from and however you're watching us today, whether that's through YouTube, Twitch, DLive, or Facebook Live. If you guys want to support the show, make sure to help us out. Let's see if I did this. There we go. Social promos are right here. You guys can help us out by making sure you subscribe to this channel on YouTube. If you guys do not subscribe, if you do not hit the bell for all notifications, then you just simply won't be notified when we go live, or at least I certainly can't guarantee. I don't show up in my own subscriptions unless I check that bell. So it's not just something YouTubers say, it's just simply the way that it is. Also, you guys are on Twitch and DLive, you guys can support us there as well. Let me know what you guys think in the live chat about price. Are we going to correct for the rest of the day on Bitcoin's price? What is your assumption? What is your assessment? If you're doing any sort of intraday trading today on BTC USD, whether that's on ByBit, whether that's on Binance, whether that's on Coinbase via Spot or Kraken or any exchange, it really doesn't matter. God forbid you're over there on Hit BTC. Have they exit scammed yet? Pretty sure they're supposed to do it at least 3 times a year. But the direction in which you should trade or focus on getting your trade entries intraday should be predicated upon what do you think is going to happen on higher time frames. Lower time frames can give you good entries. Obviously, this is why day traders utilize them. But if you're not trading if you're not trading in the direction that your analysis and your bias gives you with the big picture, both on the daily, both on the weekly, both meso time frames, the 4 hours, for example, then you're going to often find yourself kind of questioning your strategy or questioning the direction in which you're trading on the intraday level. So this is a situation right now after Bitcoin makes a new high, or after any asset makes a high after about an 8-hour charge to the upside, for example. Individuals are going to be of one of two minds. They're either going to want to long the dip because they want to continue, they believe that price is going to appreciate to the upside, or a lot of reversal traders will come in and attempt to short this area. Now, of course, anyone that has been a professional trader or been trading for a long time knows that you simply choose the direction in which best fits your analysis and trade in that direction. And ideally, you know to the best of your ability, your statistical odds of winning in that environment. But for a lot of newer traders, they get stuck on the direction of which way to trade, and that they're not sure of exactly what entry trigger to look for, and they don't feel confident in their trade. And it is really just as simple as if you look at the 4 hour or if you look at the daily, really the 4 hour is a little bit more indicative here. If you're really trading the day, if you're day trading Bitcoin, if you're intraday trading, if you're looking for intraday trade setups, that means you're generally looking for entry triggers on 5 to 15 minute charts to 1 hour charts, as we've gone over previously. And you're looking for your entries there. You're looking for smaller swings when volatility is quite high, and volatility is quite high. So let's go look at the charts. I'm going to take an assessment from everybody here on what their analysis is on whether Bitcoin's going to continue to make highs or whether they're going to continue to make lows. I'm going to ask this as well in the general chat and members lounge of our Discord to get their sound off on this. And we'll kind of break down the 2 different setups that you would be looking for depending on where your bias lies on the higher time frame, right? If you believe the price is going to make a new high today or very soon, then you will obviously want to be going for long setups. If you think that price just topped out and we're going to correct for the rest of the day, then you should be waiting for the next rally or price movement to the upside, perhaps price reaching overbought conditions with a momentum oscillator to be entering into a short trade. So let's break that all down. We'll get into our Binance live trading, look at our altcoins as well, because not only Bitcoin isn't the only asset to trade. So some individuals who don't feel comfortable or who don't like trading just this particular area, or who didn't get good trade setups, or who trade the wrong direction today, there's other assets for them to trade in cryptocurrency, and of course we have amazing volatility. So to break that down, let's go to the charts. Let me know how you guys are doing. All right, we've got a pretty nice setup here today. Now we are, got to position myself correctly. There we go. Now we are still using the webcam for video today. I'm pretty sure the DSLR camera is beyond my capacity to fix. I have done the tier 1 technical service. I've done the tier 1 technical service as much as I possibly can on it. So if anyone is proficient with Camlink 4K or downloads, nah, I'm kidding. We'll take care of it. Worst case scenario, we'll have to get a new DSLR. That'll probably take 2 to 3 days to get if we order it tomorrow. So hopefully we can get that figured out tonight. But honestly, the Logitech here webcam is not too bad. This is the C930E, guys. The C930E Logitech webcam. So tell your friends, tell your family. It's a good buy if you guys just want to do some video recording. All right, ICGView, Professor Wally, Mr. Ether, BFlow, Cheap Vlog, S180XT, Tenacious V, Mr. Hut QC, Blockchain, Tyler Dukacek. Let me know if I pronounced that incorrectly. Because if I don't, call you Tyler Dukes. Jordan A, Mr. Unicorn, thank you so much for being a member. GVU, Professor Wally, and Mr. Unicorn here on the Discord. Highly appreciated. Let's see here. Ron Legato as well. Rob and Pow, Donahue. We've got McCall. We've got Subtextually and Profit Bear and T-Dub and Longbeard Blue Box. They were in here early talking. Dr. Faz was the first in the chat, so big shout out to Dr. Faz. Someone I block has become a moderator. Oh, my dear Lord. It's the best of both worlds. It's the best of both worlds. Let's see here. Paul Bob the Builder. I can't believe you're not a moderator already. Yeah, we probably need about 3 more moderators in the YouTube. So let's see here. You guys have been with us for quite a while. So we do have our YouTube members that I want to give a huge shout out to. Mr. Unicorn, if you're not a moderator, make sure to send me a message in Discord. And if you're interested, we'll get you set up. GB Wally as well. I'm pretty sure you're a moderator, but if you're not, let me know. Nope, you are a moderator. Mr. Unicorn is not a moderator. And also, Blue Box Territory. And what else do we got? Mr. QC is a moderator. Okay, I don't want to pick favorites because there's so many. You guys are all my friends. I don't want to pick favorites. So, Mr. Unicorn, get a hold of me and we'll start from there. Shoe Money Tom P, challenged investor, wants to look at silver. And Michael, it's pronounced Michael. All right, I got you, man. I got you. Unless you're Polish. Let me get the phonetics, right? Let's see here. Mr. Axe says, U.S. official sees more than $1 billion in Bitcoin tied to Silk Road. Could you please drop a link to me in Discord or drop a link to one of the staff and we'll definitely check that out. Oh, I get it, guys. Did I forget to put my phone on silent? Yes, I did. Who runs this show anyways? There we go. Put it on the old vibrate. I am using it to trade with on ByBit. All right, let's take a look at, we do have our live trading suspended right now, or excuse me, not up. But I do want to show this actually before we get into the price analysis. All right, so as you guys can see here, and I am just pushing it through actually over here. These things take time, and then of course you get your trade signal, and then you have to be going live. Let me go here real quick. I did just enter a BTC USD long, so not only do I have Binance open up here for live trading as we can do on stream, and currently I am short Blockstack. That is the only position that I have open with Binance Margin. As you guys have seen over the last couple of days, that position is still open. We have made a new low on STX BTC, not quite hitting our first take profit that we were looking for. We were looking for that 983 and we only hit 986, so about 3 sats, excuse me, not about, but exactly 3 sats off. But again, the trend is still to the downside. We have pushed back up to 1,004 and price has come down a little bit since I actually looked at this morning. So there's no reason to do anything yet. But BTC USD, I did enter into a long trade and we'll talk about why that is here in just a second. But first I want to get this out into the trading journal for posterity. And I select. Let's see, what's current market price here? 15,016. My entry was actually at 14,933. So I will call it from here. $14,933.50. All right, and we're gonna actually measure our TP here in just a second. So for those premium members who are watching this, but I really do quite want to get this out. So let's just call it 15070 for right now. We'll make the modification as necessary. And then our stop loss is, of course, going to be 14,880. Should be 3%, but we're going to measure it out here in just a little bit. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. I had to fire that off. All right, so let's get over and do our BTC TA. So we're all on the same page. Zooming out, starting off as always here on the weekly time frame. What's really interesting is, of course, what's happening today, but let's keep our eyes on what's happening this week. We are putting in our, let's see, our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, our 5th bullish weekly close. Now, rebounding off the March highs, we put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold on, whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 candles. We wobbled on 8, and then we actually closed the 9th. So again, the only reason I counted out the 8 and 9 there, even though there was a red candle that intersects them, is because that 9 number fits very nicely with TD sequential, although that was not a TD countdown right there. So this is going to be the largest amount of green candles that we've had consecutively, higher than our previous rally, like more green weekly bullish closes than our previous rally. And the reason why this is significant, investment accounts are looking good. This is larger than we had during any rally back in 2019. And it's, I would say that the March meltdown is certainly an area of your technical signal needs to be right, okay? And that's not the case. It just needs to be right more often than it's wrong, okay? We're just looking for something that gives us the opportunity to profit off of market movements in the, movements in the market. So volatility and volume, timing of day, these all play a factor in where we can achieve profitable trade setups. And so even though, like for example, on my indicators that I have on the chart, you can see that on the weekly time frame, that massive sell-off in March did not really exacerbate my momentum oscillators. It just did as it performed as normal, gave me an oversold condition, which was a good buy entry. Same here on Parallax, and we trend flip just beautifully here on the weekly time frame, up here in the first consolidation area coming off of the March lows. So the 5 weekly candles not only indicates that we are not in a correction, in my opinion. Certainly, we have outperformed any correction that we experienced coming off of our last rally to the upside. I think it's indicative of the fact that we are still in an uptrend, as price has shown. I'm still cautious. I'm still conservative as far as my portfolio goes. This is an opportunity where this is an area where certainly when I start to consider large amounts of money, I do have to wait for the right entry for that. And that's the right decision for me. However, now that I have a freer day, I'm able to actually intraday trade a little bit more actively, as you guys can see with my 2 positions that I have on display for you here. Now, going back here, I am kind of interested in the number of consecutive candles. I believe it is 7. I believe it is 7 weekly uptrend candles, and I believe that is right here. Yes, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8. So 8 is the most, but if we get to 9, we'll celebrate. But the most important thing is, as I said earlier, if we had a weak close, if we had a rejection close with this weekly candle, that would certainly be indicative of something that's quite obvious. It's so obvious you don't even have to say it. If price goes and makes a new high and then immediately sells off on the weekly time frame, like we were to close a bearish weekly candle, likely correction would follow. This is an area right here. The previous correction that we had is an area where a correction was likely to follow. And it did. There was a correction, but we didn't then shift into a bearish trend, okay? So for those looking for a bearish trend to aggressively short, we certainly haven't seen that yet. You do want to see breakdown below your moving average, or at least a reversal. You actually want to see a confirmed reversal, something of that nature. For the majority of traders, particularly those watching this show, what you'll be focused on is, if you're a trend following trader, identifying areas to take profit or to play intraday trade setups. Now, the weekly time frame, a weekly close above the previous high on a strong close like this, again, is indicative of more of a breakout, and we do have to start looking at slightly more aggressive entries. All right, so Bitcoin on the 3-day as well, pushing past the previous TDST line. Let's go over and look. Today is going to be the beautiful 5th. And The 3-day candle just closed. We have our new 3-day candle that just opened, and of course, surging because Bitcoin is up 9%, a little bit over 9% on the daily today. So pushing right past that previous TD/ST line and just moving right into another TD countdown, a TD setup. We are in the midst of a TD countdown already here on the 3-day, on a 12 of 13. Now, again, that becomes, for me, that technical indicator becomes more, let's say, I would be more inclined to listen to it or to be more prone to open up at-risk shorts if we also saw signs of rejection, if we saw some signs of weakness, but we're not. The market is clearly moving up, pushing past even the ISA spot sell signal. All right, so on the daily as well, we have reached that second take profit area that we had marked out all the way back when we were completing that triangle top, that breakout above 10K. Seems like forever ago. It was just a month ago. Price can move. All right, so we have moved up 55% off of the first pullback, breaking above that long-term resistance that we had down at about 10,000. So next target area is, of course, there's really nothing left, guys. If price continues to march, with the exception of one area, and of course that's going to be this wiki area right here, where price did bounce back up to right around 17,000. But other than that, certainly the price target that should be on individuals' minds, or is on individuals' minds. I don't want to say should be, because that's not the way that I trade. But the price area that people are going to be eyeing after ideally consolidation in this area, because that's what we saw briefly in all of these important areas. So we have our resistance here. Initially, we consolidated for a while, broke down, consolidated more before we actually broke through, consolidated in the first take profit zone, and then broke up to the second take profit zone. And again, these aren't just arbitrary measurements. I didn't get to these with fib retracements or fib extensions. These are just areas of previous support and resistance and volume, heavy volume areas of market agreement, areas where the market is in. Areas where lots of volume is traded is indicated by VPVR, and we can pull that up if you guys would like to see. It does help. Visible range. Put that on the chart. So, areas of heavy volume. Oh, sorry. Let's get right there. All right. Areas where there is more volume than others are areas where lots of volume was traded. Keep in mind that this is calculating volume in Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin's price is more expensive, naturally, the scale goes down. So you do have to, in your mind at least, unless you write a script for it, have a program for it, you do have to kind of put this area right here, the area that we're talking about here, on the same measurement or scale as that. Because as the price of Bitcoin increases, obviously, less Bitcoin quantity will be traded by the market. Bob the Builder, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, my friend. He says, cannot thank you enough for showing me the right path, man. Has extremely possibly been my strongest year of professional growth in my life so far. I'm very glad to hear that, my friend. And again, every time we talk, I am continually just kind of blown away, honestly, by how much or how disciplined you seem and how much, like the huge change that I've seen in you, Bob. It's really cool, man. I really appreciate you being a member of the community. You're a good guy, man. Paul is often in the voice chat channels in our Discord, asking if anybody wants to look at trade setups. So if you guys are young or not young, but if you guys are just hungry and you're passionate about trading and you want to be, I remember what it was like when I was first trading. Lots of intraday setups, lots of intraday charts, but a little bit older, a little bit more seasoned. But if you guys are young and hungry, make sure to hop in there with Paul or the rest of the crew. All right, so on the daily, again, not too much here that I wanted to point out. Sorry, let me bring back up the PTP indicators. We still do not have an exit from the inverted Fisher transform on the RSI, which is the exit indicator that we're using on this daily swing strategy. So again, trend following traders are those practicing this form of strategy, an insensitive PTP system. Again, this one is just constructed with public trading view indicators that anybody can access. Would still be in a trade, would have entered a trade on the... Bring back super trend and get rid of VPVR there. Here's the cross across the baseline initiation, qualifying within a 3-bar qualifying rule for those using that additional rule on the 11th of October, right? So on the 11th of October was initiation of a trend following signal. Again, we're either, depending on your profit taking strategy, the majority of our newer traders are going to be practicing 1, 2, 3. or 50-50. Less people, less I talk to, are going to be practicing all in, all out. That's where you wait for the exit signal. But you've got quite a ways. You've got, it's pretty much impossible to secure almost 30% above profit at this point. So most individuals are just going to be running with a trailing stop. And I do think that is the correct decision, right? This is an area where you have to understand or keep in mind two things. There is a difference between moments in the market where things happen that aren't normal, right? So for example, breakouts, genuine breakouts, massive bull runs, massive sell-offs, things like the March meltdown, and what we're currently seeing in Bitcoin's price right now, just putting in 5 consecutive weekly candles and just absolutely surging today. So there is a difference between that moment or that area of the market and what a professional trader will just do day in and day out. Okay. So day in and day out, for those who want to practice systems trading, you will be executing a very unique and similar strategy almost every single day, every day that you decide to trade. Certainly, I promote sitting down, having good hygiene, and practicing trading every day, even if you're not going to trade that day. Keeps you sharp and keeps you active. So there is a difference between, like, for example, right? There's a difference between your normal work week. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you drink some coffee, you go to work, you come home, maybe you spend some time with your family, and then you go to bed and you go back to work the next day, so on and so forth. On the weekends, maybe you get time to cut the grass. So there's a difference between that and then walking into Walmart on your way home from work on Wednesday and experiencing, a robbery, or experiencing, just randomly, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile pulling up and mascots busting out and breakdancing. Like, those are unusual occurrences. So the way in which you would behave during a unusual occurrence is generally going to be different than the way that you would behave on a day-to-day basis. And the opportunities on a day-to-day basis, the opportunities that present themselves in those unnatural situations are different from the opportunities that present themselves every single day or day-to-day in your everyday normal life. So this is an area where, as a technical trader, I still, absolutely, would not, on the macro timeframes, enter my position here. I'm not a breakout trader. And one thing that really does help ameliorate that is being an investor in Bitcoin, right? So certainly there are assets all the time throughout history, well, just in the last year, really, that have absolutely put in staggering returns. And as a trader, you will capture some of that movement, right? So it's kind of like focusing on in your own house and not worrying how well others are doing. If you focus on trading well, then you'll stay in the game. Anyways, all that to be said, I want to look for trade setups or justify why we traded the way that we did today, or at least why I did. On the 4 hour here, we are overbought on ISISpot. We've been that way for quite a while. So even on our meso timeframes, and what I want to do here is pull up the CC trend as well. The CC trend. So we're going to have our CC exponential moving averages indicator here. We have Minx, our primary momentum oscillator, and Parallax. All right. So here on the meso timeframes on the 4 hour, Parallax did just reach the overbought territory. Now, Parallax is far less sensitive than Minx. So when it reaches overbought, you really do want to pay attention, assuming that you've adjusted the settings in such a way that the defaults work just fine. But I'm saying, based on, if you feel comfortable with the settings, to trust its judgment, right? And we can scroll back historically. When Parallax reaches overbought areas, usually something happens. Not always, but again, it is far more right. It is far more right than it is not. So Parallax being overbought is one indication, one thing to definitely keep your eyes on here on the 4 hour time frame. And again, Minx also entering overbought territory. No divergence, so we have a higher high in price and a higher high on Minx. We do get a little bit of and we're getting pegged just a little bit here. We can see this. So what I want to do, I have this wrong. So let's go to the 30 period. I want to increase our look back length to 30. Maybe 30 is not perhaps the best justified. Perhaps 20 would be even better here on the mesos. So we will try 30 out. We don't see any divergence here yet with a 30 period look back, which is what I like to use on the lower time frames, for sure, the intraday time frames. But with the look back length of 20, again, we are still getting, even at 20, a little bit of that. I call it kind of like coiling, where we're getting pegged. And one of the reasons for this is that Minx is designed to really catch corners very, very well. So it has a little bit of predictive element in it. Whereas something like the Fisher transform or time transformation or RSI, for example, will often not get too pegged because it somewhat modifies itself based on what price is currently doing. What Minx does is it looks at obviously OHLC values, but it looks just specifically for not necessarily what price is doing right in the moment, whereas it looks at what is the pattern over time, and based on that pattern, where are likely to be the tops and bottoms, and then obviously kind of the quarter, 25% of the way through the movement. That's the initiation of a trend where we want to look for. All right, so with almost 30 minutes into the show, let's get down to the lower time frames and talk about why I took the long anyways and why that is my trade setup. I am trading against one of our analysts, and again, I want to point out that's good because one of us is going to be right, and it's an interesting and good example, and it's good to use to talk about a live example of different biases. Okay. So you have to look at the reason why we always do that, the reason why every single day we go through the weekly down to lately the 3-day, the daily, the mesos, and then we look at the intraday, and then we look at different data, is because if you're going to trade lower time frames, then you should be doing it correctly. And I don't know a better way than to utilize or trade in the direction you would want to trade on those higher time frames. So if the weekly is bullish, then why would you want to short the daily? If you believe that over the course of the next week, price is going to go up. Let's say you get lazy. Let's say an accident happens or an emergency happens. Wouldn't you rather and you forget to actively manage your trade, or you don't have enough time to actively manage your trade? Would you not rather have your trade in the direction that you think the broader market is going to go up in or going to move in? Of course. It's a lot safer, it's a lot easier, it's a lot less stress-free, and it's strategic, right? It's smarter, it gives you more opportunities. Whereas trading against the trend, yes, obviously people make a living doing that, and yes, there are opportunities there is price movement, but the individuals who push the market back down when it's moving up are generally far more capitalized than a retail trader, and they're far more, they move the market, right? Individuals or groups who can move the market against its dominant direction have more capital than retail traders. They have more experience than retail traders. They have faster machines, they have better algorithms, and that is their edge. So to the extent that you develop that edge, awesome, you deserve it, go for it. But to the extent that you are a retail trader attempting to take advantage of, let's say, institutional trading level or market maker level strategies, I don't think that is the best option for you, right? You gotta walk before you gotta crawl before you can walk. All right, so if you believe that on the 4-hour or on the daily, I think the 4-hour is good for this, for those who practice intraday, for those who are intraday trading. If you think that price is going to make a higher high, either today or tomorrow, then you should be trading to the upside. Okay, very easy. There are many setups we can look for, but we're going to keep it quite simple here. We can reference we're looking at Bitcoin, so we're going to look here at ISASpot. We'll look at Minx as well and Parallax. And I do have, so we'll look at two different ways of looking at Bitcoin because it's quite unique and more liquid and what I prefer to trade with more capital. And for Binance, we're still going to be utilizing the strategy that we've been practicing for the last few days using time transformation and then our baseline of a 13 EMA and then our volume confirmation inside time transformation itself. We could use Heikin-Ashi confirmation as well. And we'll review the comments and the messages that I received in Discord in just a little bit, probably in the second hour. But if you think that price is going to make a higher high, if your meso time frame and daily time frame analysis is bullish, then you should be trading that bias on the lower time frames. You should be looking for oversold conditions or oversold entry triggers. You should be looking for things like threshold indications. So we'll just talk about two that are available to. Let's talk about two that are available to non-premium members, and then we'll talk about two that are available only to premium members right now. So for non-premium members, we can do something like Bollinger Band. All right, we can use the Bollinger Bands. We can use RSI. I don't like these indicators too much, but we can utilize them. In lieu of nothing else, it's better than nothing. Okay. So we have the Bollinger Bands. What is our trade entry then? Okay. Well, we want to trade to the long side. So on our lower time frame that we're going to choose to trade on, you could select either the 5, the 10, the 15. I've got the 5 selected here. We're going to be looking for oversold conditions, and we're going to look for some form of objective entry trigger, something that happens objectively where we enter the trade, no questions asked, right? So what we will be using here is, or what you can use is when price goes outside the lower boundary of the Bollinger Band and then closes back above the lower boundary, you get into a long position, okay? So that would actually, let's kind of drill in here and see what our Bollinger Band look back period is. We're on the lower time frame, so we're going to use a look back length of 30 and a standard deviation of, I think 2 will be just fine, maybe 3 if necessary. And the reason why I moved it from 20 to 30 is because when we go down to lower time frames, there's more data for our indicators to interpret. So 20, I feel, is pretty fast. That's its default. That's what we'd use on the daily or the 4 hour. Going down to the lower time frames, perhaps 30, maybe even 40. You guys can back test for yourself what works best for you and your strategy. But we have the, show you a couple different ways actually while we're here. So Bollinger Bands, we're waiting for price to close below the lower boundary and then close back above. And based on this chart that we see right here, that would give us an entry on this candle right here. So we would have an entry on the close of, so again, and this depends on your trading. I always like to wait for closing, for a bar to close to confirm the trigger. So that means I would wait for the bar that closes back inside the boundary, following the bar that closes outside the lower boundary to close before I actually enter the position, right? So I'd enter at market close, at candle close. Some individuals prefer taking the signal as soon as it appears. Now, keep in mind that signal can repaint because obviously a candle can begin pushing up and then get sold off into, so. But that would give you an entry right here, and you would just be right now back at break even, hoping for that next push to the upside. All right, so those are entry triggers. That's one. The other one that we could look for is RSI being oversold. And again, let's take a look here at what our RSI is set at. It is set at 14. Let's go to 21. And we don't really have any RSI oversold conditions. Again, we do have the overbought condition over here, which called the top pretty good here on the 5 minute for Bitcoin. And here, little correction, and here, little correction, and here, little correction. So RSI, not bad, performing well, better than nothing. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Now, what I would actually prefer to use, and what I actually do use right here, is I use ISOspot, and my look back length here is 30. I have actually adjusted my oversold condition because volatility is quite high, and just a brief look on this time frame will kind of tell us that if we're a little bit more aggressive with moving our initiation level up on what oversold is, at what point oversold is, we will get more entry triggers, and it certainly is a market in which that could be profitable if we're being more aggressive when volatility is quite high. So my intraday strategy here for Bitcoin is to utilize ISOspot, which is an indicator I've programmed. That's currently not publicly available. But I want to make it publicly available soon. I want to make sure that it's quite good though first. And it works for me, but there's a difference here. So we do have, I'm looking for oversold conditions on ISOspot. So the same that we're doing with time transformation in conjunction with some reading on the premium index, the BitMEX funding and premium index, which is publicly available by Neobutane on TradingView to corroborate the direction in which I want to trade. So for example, here we have price moving down. And again, just to be clear here, I'm on the 5 minute. I do have experimental settings for lower time frames on. If I was on the hourly, I wouldn't have that on. But here on the 5 minute chart, a few things interest me. First off, I was looking for any oversold condition to get into a trade. I do think that Bitcoin is actually going to make a higher high today. We'll see if I'm right or wrong, but that certainly seems to be more likely than, in my analysis, that seems to be the more likely case based on what the market's doing right now. The other thing that I have that is an externality here, that is another level of analysis, is the Bitcoin volatility chart. Now, again, this is the 24-hour volatility divided by the 7-day volatility and all the way down to a 5 minute look back. So what I see here is that price, not really price, but volatility, had made a new high above the previous high level of volatility, put in a little bit of a correction, and then again, just continuing to take off. Now, the threshold where I start to get a little concerned, or not concerned actually, quite happy, is going to be 0.61 is the area that I had marked out, and 0.20, all right? I actually believe it was, actually, hold on, that might be wrong. I think it was 0.21 and 0.56, yep, 0.55 and 0.21, yep. Okay, so I can actually delete that and just make these visible on the minute, on die Minuten. Cool. All right, back to the 5 minute here. So 0.55, getting above that level indicates not that volatility has to stop, but that volatility has kind of reached certainly a threshold to the upside. And what this means is that taking profit in this area is a quite good idea historically, or waiting for volatility to go above and then down below 55 is equally acceptable. 0.21. So when volatility gets close to or below 0.21, that often indicates consolidation in a good area to find our entries. Okay, now this is different. This is a breakout entry. I've used 1% risk. I have a cross margin account over here on ByBit. Show you guys. I really do feel like this. This angle is too zoomed out. Maybe it's because I got this big old zit on my neck. It's either that or I've been infected with the corona, and this is the second stage. Take a quick sip of coffee here. 141. Let's pull back up. All right, so we talked about Bitcoin volatility. We talked about entry triggers. Here we're back on the 5-minute chart. So I took the entry based off, I saw the buy signal. Now I had to run up to my local courthouse this morning to file some paper. It had to be due at 12 p.m. today. Thus why we started the show an hour later. So I was actually driving at this point in time. I was driving on my way there. And then throughout this area, I was driving on my way back. And it was good. It was good because I missed the initial buy signal from ISASpot where I would have entered or looked for an entry at that area. And then price did come down. We formed a double bottom and I got that entry at 11,000. Let's double check. 11,004. Keep looking at the wrong screen for the ByBit because this is new. 14,933.50. Let's come back over here. So not big money, guys. Not big money. You guys gotta, for premium members. But we have roughly, I do believe I have about $3,000 on the exchange. Yep, right here, or at least as available balance on this particular account. And I'm trading with 1% risk. I'm not utilizing any margin for this trade. Otherwise, I could increase the position size, certainly with a much tighter stop. Now, again, granted, that might have been strategically the best thing, but again, just showing you guys for demonstration purposes. If you guys increase your risk in this area, I don't enjoy trading with more than 1% risk per trade, particularly intraday. The reason why is this, right? The reason why is this, and again, obviously I could, and what I do in my normal trading is corroborate my trading accounts across platforms as part of my daily hygiene. But for this, I'm just utilizing something simple, just $3,000 on the exchange, utilizing that as the total account balance available to trade. So trading with 1% risk per trade, utilizing intraday setups on Bitcoin means if you're using the 5-minute chart for triggers, you can get, let's say, 3 trades a day on average, right? Maybe 5 if price is quite active. But if you're looking for like good entries where it's quite probable that you'll make profit and not trading like really like short 45-second to 2-minute scalps, if you're trading, 1 to 2 hour swings, utilizing the 5-minute chart, you're going to get about 3 to 5 entries. So let's just say 3, right, for the average trader. That's conservative, that's normal, that's good, and certainly borne out by the evidence. Then if you're trading at 1% risk per trade, that's 3% risk to your account per day. Okay. So that's 15% per risk just on that asset. Now, assuming that you're only trading Bitcoin. Of course, on ByBit, we can trade multiple pairs. We have many pairs available to us. In fact, I really haven't mentioned or talked about this, but ByBit did, of course, add Ethereum USDT, Link USDT, Litecoin USDT, and Tezos USDT to their USDT perpetual contracts on their platform. All right. Now, this is really cool. And this is really exciting, too, for those who are, let's say, so for those who are newer traders and who are flat in this area, who haven't, or who do have excess capital on the sides that isn't in Bitcoin. Sitting in USDT is, of course, safe. You're not at risk. You're flat. And that is how almost every single trader outside of cryptocurrency would consider normal trading. The reason why is because it's only really in crypto where being all in is like the norm. Hey, kids and their crazy adventures. I'm certainly guilty of it. So if you're flat or if you have capital sitting in USDT, which is the most logical option, then you can utilize the USDT contracts to actually do something with your capital. And again, you don't have to deposit all of it because You can use margin to deposit less than you need onto the exchange. Therefore, if worst case scenario, something happens to the exchange or your deposit or your transaction, only a smaller portion of your capital is gone forever. You know what I'm going to do for this camera scene? I don't like the idea of like slipping off the map here. Let's just zoom out. Jeez. Oh. I'm going to get this guy a glass of water or something. Okay. So we've got our trade entry for BTC USD. Let's go look at Ethereum real quick and see if that's justified for an entry here on ByBit. So let's pull open our TradingView chart. And I am going to set up that stream deck over the weekend. So I know that Jason has a good short entry. I do believe he got short right around this area. Jason has been on an absolute roll, by the way. I do want to give a big shout out to Junior Analyst Midwest Attempts. If you guys are premium members and not following his signals, definitely check that out. Check out his live results for this month, and you guys can see his. For those of you who are premium or non-premium members, anybody, hero to all, guys and girls. You can tell my daughter likes Moana. You guys can go to results.crackingcryptocurrency.com always to see all of our live results. Let's see here. Subtextually says, so I suggest that it's better to hold trading capital in Bitcoin altcoins instead of stablecoins. So what I am suggesting that it is certainly more profitable to do so while those Bitcoins and altcoins are moving up in price. Yes. It is more difficult to do so though. If the market is moving down, then it is certainly wiser to be short, hedged, or to be in fiat or a stable coin. The reason why is because you have then sold high with the intention to purchase back lower, which is that's the definition of good trading, right? This is the classic basic approach to trading. Now, I will say this, through years of experience, I have noticed that is also why people struggle so much more in cryptocurrency trading than in other markets, in my opinion, from what I've observed. Because not only if they're trying to be a trader, right, with any sort of discipline or strategy, because not only now are they worried about trading well on a technical level or following their strategy, but they are also worried about what do I do with my investment, right? Because now they're flipping what should have been their investment as a trade, and that's not a good idea. That's not what I do. So what I suggest is you take what you want to invest in Bitcoin, the amounts that you do not want to sell, and you put that in cold storage. Not only that you put it in cold storage, that you research how to put it in cold storage correctly. The easiest way to do this certainly is with a ledger. So purchase a hardware wallet. You guys can go to ledger.crackingcryptocurrency.com if you guys would like to grab one. And then with the seed phrase, if you want to take it another level, you can get a crypto tag. That's what I've done, so that you can not have your seed phrase on paper. It's on indestructible titanium. There's a good video of me on, there's a good video of us unboxing a crypto tag. We did that last year, so definitely go check that out. All right, so I did hear a little beep over here, and that does mean that my 1570 TP1 has been hit. What I am going to do right now is, let's see here. My intentions with this were to set my take profit for a 1, 2, 3. That's a simple way to do it. And then to set a 3% stop loss. Seeing as we have hit the posted take profit, I'm going to go ahead and call that and just look at the TradingView chart actually to suggest what I should do. All right, so let's look here. We have just made a new high coming off of the low that we formed over here just about an hour and a half ago. So we do have a higher high now, and we do have a higher low. So if we form another higher low here, that would generally confirm an uptrend to those who are conservative and potentially a third higher high. Really, depending on what school of trading by school of trading, I guess, I don't know. It really depends on like who you learn to trade from or how you want to trade. You can just back test different things, certainly. market structure is an important part of price action trading. So the most basic component of market structure is higher highs and higher lows. If the market is making higher lows and higher highs, it's in an uptrend. If it's making lower lows and lower highs, it's often it's indicated by a downtrend. Mr. Ether says, do I often have trouble focusing on one thing? Yes, I am a terrible multitasker. Yes. So it is quite a miracle that I'm able to do this. And by the way, I got to give a shout out to the unsung heroes here. The correct applications, the correct morning routine, the correct evening routine, being consistent, doing what you do on a daily basis, and doing it just habitually and routinely, having good daily hygiene about your different activities. It really does contribute, because everybody is, except for 3% of the population, according to the studies that I've read, terrible at multitasking. Everybody tries, everybody fails. You can see it right there in the background. Subtextually, it does say BTC USD 5 and then the perpetual contract on ByBit. What I can do is make that a little bit more visible. The watermark right here. And we'll bump that up to, let's say 75%. How's that? There you go. Hopefully that's a little bit more helpful. All right, so we have made a new high. We are pulling back right now on the lower time frames. And what we're looking to see, or ideally what I would like to see, is price form a higher low than the low that we formed right here, 14,987. If we do not, so as you guys can see, I haven't sold my position. This is what I'm going to do with my trading. What I'm actually going to do is, if price makes a higher low, that's an opportunity to add to my position. I can add another 1,000 contracts. If price makes a lower low than the previous low, then what I will do is wait until the next rally, the next high, the next peak, and I'll utilize that opportunity to exit my position. All right, so some say Justin sold at 15,349. Certainly some people did. What do we got here? What time is it? 1:52. So about 8 minutes until we take a break here. So that gives us enough time to look at a few things. We were supposed to look at Ethereum, so I don't think there's anything here to do with Bitcoin. We are in backwardation right now, indicated by the funding and premium index indicator. So what that indicates to me is that we're really not at a top. We do have just some interesting things continuing to happen. We have premium as price gets pretty significantly sold off into, following the high that we made today. And then of course we do a lower high, lower low, and then price moves to the upside. All right, excuse me, no. A higher low right here, because of course the low wicked all the way down. So high volume, high premium there, and that premium indicates that as price went down, a lot of people bought, and now as price is moving up, we are moving into backwardation, indicating again that people are aggressively trying to short the market. As we saw throughout this entire area, as long as the price is in backwardation, it's probably going to move up or continue to move up. So more punishment in line, more punishment in line. So let's do Ethereum and see if an entry here is justified. So remember the strategy that we're utilizing for everything else. That is not, of course, we can apply the same strategy here to Ethereum. We do have the premium indicator. And of course, Ethereum is available to trade on ByBit. So let's actually switch our indicator over to Ethereum. And we do see, well, premium on the BitMEX chart on the 5-minute here, just for everything. Let's try taking off the experimental settings for the lower time frames. Yeah, same thing. High premium as opposed to spot price pretty much throughout this entire area. So this is not going to be very helpful, unfortunately. I think we're going to have better success using the technical strategy of time transformation, just simply looking at this, because we don't really see any areas of backwardation, except for, actually, let's just look at this a little bit more. We do see some pretty significant backwardation back here on this sell-off. Price rises on premium. We flip a little bit. Is there any significance? It does seem like, just on casual glance, that when these brief pockets, so excluding this area right here where we bottom, price moves up or consolidates on premium. And the areas where we actually slip into backwardation, do note the bottom of corrections. You can see it here, getting drilled in. We can see it, let's see here on this candle, and here on this candle. And we see it here. There's more correction, but again, does indicate a local bottom. See, the high is right here. And then we move up on premium, correct on premium all the way down. Here we have backwardation, not at the bottom, but kind of getting close. Backwardation at the top. So this is certainly not as helpful on initial glance as the Bitcoin indicator. Perhaps a strategy would be following backwardation. When price moves into premium, we could enter into a trade. But honestly, I'm not really seeing the data here that I would want to see just on this initial glance. We could certainly try zooming out a little bit. Backwardation at the top. Price moving up on premium here for Ethereum. So yeah, I don't see anything here that's really going to help. Let's look at Ethereum on the daily. Ethereum, as opposed to Bitcoin, looks like it is about to break out. And this references what Alex had said yesterday. Alex said that Ethereum was the trade to watch for. So what if Bitcoin corrects here or consolidates at these highs, and we see what often happens. Altcoins begin to move up, being led, of course, by the king of altcoins here, Mr. Ethereum. No, thought I was going to say Bitcoin Cash. No, of course it's Ethereum. Ethereum might, though, be in its own league, though, at this point in time. All right, so ISASpot previously calling the top here on Ethereum USD on the daily quite well, and then giving us our initial buy signal here. We, of course, do correct for 1-2 candles, and then we get a second continuation signal right here. Let's look at what the trend is here on the daily. Of course, it's going to be bullish per our CCEMAs, and of course, we are bouncing off the 55 daily exponential moving average, and we are in an uptrend per the weekly as well. I do think that just based on the technical chart here, there is more profit opportunity for Ethereum, likely. But again, I would certainly see, and can't deny, anybody can see it, there is more volume and volatility in Bitcoin's chart, and we certainly have better tools trading Bitcoin. RK, no, I don't think this is not an area where I'd enter a swing long on Bitcoin. It's not. It's price is overbought. Everything is kind of firing for correction from the technical level. So as I was talking about this earlier, this is an area where you can YOLO, right? 2017 was an area where you could YOLO just about anything. You can be aggressive and kind of try to play that big position, right? Like this is it, this is the moment, right? The problem with that is that you're not getting in a good level. People who are better and smarter traders who have lots of Bitcoin to sell, they are selling slowly on the way up, right? They are kind of marching and targeting toward 20,000. Yes, of course, there are individuals, hodlers, who are not going to sell their Bitcoin no matter what price level, but sentiments change when hilarity happens in the market, right? The better trade intraday, there are good setups with risk management on the daily, or excuse me, on the intradays, on the intraday time frame. So just lower time frame, lower risk trading. Then doing something with your entire capital account. It's still not the right move from a technical perspective. And if you and for me, I do have to stay true to that technical strategy because that's what's kept me in the game rather than YOLOing, right? It's skill over time rather than taking advantage of opportunities. You know, I had a lot of those opportunities in DeFi, not as much as I wanted to, but I certainly posted my video of 5 trades that worked out well for me. And this just might not be my Bitcoin rally. But again, that's silly to say because guys, the entire cross bridge to that is investing in Bitcoin, right? So I currently have far more in my investment in Bitcoin than I do in my trading account. I don't, it's just the way that things have evolved naturally over time. And as I said, I mean, heck, I've been cautious for quite a long time. So yeah, this is good stuff. All right, now we are in a daily trend here on the daily. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Again, daily trend looking good. Coming off of being overextended on the 4 hour. So not the most beautiful entry, but let's look at the daily, or let's look at the 1 hour. The 1 hour has pulled back sufficiently, so we can have something like a 1 hour trade, and we can look for our entry trigger here on the 5 minute. Let's see here. We'll use just Minx and Parallax here. Will work just fine for a setup here. looking for price to be above or trending on the hourly, and looking for those pullback opportunities. So oversold conditions, getting those kind of reversal buys from Minx. Now look here where Minx puts in a low, not quite oversold, and then gives us that oversold trigger with the buy signal. Let's see here. It curves right here, but I don't think it crosses over until this candle, right? Now we do correct a little bit. See here, don't put in a great bottom here, but we do have trend initiation. So this is the classic Minx signal right here as we kind of break above the 5-minute baselines, the 5-minute exponential moving average boundary. So either here or here, it doesn't really matter. Here or here would have been a good entry. So either at the oversold buy signal, which was coming back off of a rebound, or a slightly more optimized entry waiting for that kind of trending long signal here on Minx. So either way, I don't see now the best opportunity to enter on Ethereum to the long side. I should have entered when I entered into my Bitcoin position. I was a little bit more worried getting here to you guys. All right, so seeing as Ethereum is not something that we want to mess with today, let's go over to our Market Sentinel chart. Let's just check the pairs that we were looking at and see if there is opportunity here. All right, so again, we are looking for, price to be, we're trading in the direction that price is on the daily time frame. So for our altcoins, we are using a 13 EMA daily baseline. If price is below it, we're going short, and we're looking for overbought conditions or divergence with time transformation with volume confirmation, which is the yellow dot here within 5 bars on the hourly, for those trade initiation setups. So here for Numenera, we can see the daily baseline using the multi-time frame feature of our baseline indicator, and we are not in overbought conditions. In fact, price is quite low and putting in buy signals. So there's no trigger here. There's no trade on Numenera. All right, on Nano, which is another pair that we're looking at, again, below the daily baseline, but no setup. So let's find, nope. RSR is getting there, and I know RSR had been pumping. Okay, so here we have RSR on the hourly. RSR has been marching up. Now we're not quite overbought yet, but we are putting in a ton of unnatural volume. Let's see here, and just coming back right above, trading at some resistance that we were at previously. Back on the 3rd and 4th, so a few days ago. So let's keep our eyes on RSR. That does seem like a good one to watch. We're not quite there where I want to get we haven't gotten a signal yet, but we're getting there. Avalanche, again, is another one that is starting to push up. If we can see a little bit of a breakout out of this range, that would be a good area to correct and short. So Avalanche, RSR, and Band. Band looking good as well. Multiple volume signatures as we bottomed here. And coming up, putting those nice wicks. Now, this is one that I think is worth the entry here. So if I get a line cross under here, this will be sufficient, assuming that I don't find anything else. Let's go over to CoinGecko. Let's see here. Ethereum or Link, what would I trade? Well, let's look at the overall daily here. The biggest gainer of the day is SNX, Synthetics Network Token, followed by Thorchain and Uniswap. So I still have not sold my Uniswap. I still have it, so that's a good thing, I guess. But it's I didn't sell the lows. But with things that I get for free, there's really no reason to sell them immediately. There's certainly opportunities for that to happen. But you never know how it's going to play. You never know how it's going to play out. And Uniswap certainly is a nice, strong coin. The Decentraland, so I do know that... I am Troll over there in our general chat is probably doing probably quite happy about that. So I just asked in the chat in our members lounge what they think if we are going to experience a higher high, or if we're just going to correct today and put in a lower high. Neo, please. Ask for Bebop. Yeah, we just looked at Neo, I do believe. No, we looked at Nano, excuse me. We'll look at Neo here in just a second, right before we go to break. RSR, one of the bigger gainers of the day. Arweave, Aave, Litecoin Energy Web Token, and of course Bitcoin. So Bitcoin only up about 7% now following the correction, but was at its peak up a little bit over 9%. Waves, Wrap Bitcoin doing good. What is actually down today? Well, not too much. Loopring, Blockstack, the one trade, the one altcoin that we're short on, we're about 5% up on that trade so far. The Leo token DAI. So actually our stable coins are down. So what that indicates is that people are selling their stable coins and moving into BTC USD or other assets. Not really surprising. Watching price moving to the upside. A lot of FOMOing, a lot of emotional trading. AgriTrade right here can help us identify some of those market highs and lows. We still have a negative volume delta. So over here in the premium Discord, we have Rhino Trader taking the bearish stance with a correction. Saintsy calling for a higher high. Don Cannon says we're going to 22K. Gonna put the eyes on that. Chip CS looking for a higher high. Don Cannon, no, seriously though, 17K. All right. Asking if we want some more. He said then 17.1, 17.2, 17. Now we go right to 22,000 right after 17.2. All right. Let's see what the general chat thinks. Profit Bears all in on Crow. When are the alts going to enter into their bull run? Say it. I don't know if you missed 2020, but we did have a pretty gnarly altcoin bull run. Ben Lutz asking for Link. What do I think about Cypherium? Don't know. This reminds Tyler of June 2019. Lower high, hedged until proven wrong on that. Pulling back to 13K, then 17K. Well, none of that, Mr. Tiger. Let's see here. Damien's looking for an altcoin rally when Bitcoin tops and Ethereum Bitcoin stops making new lows. I think that we'll have an altcoin rally on a very simple metric. Now we'll come back here and we'll look at some price projections using fib extensions. But let's go to BTC fundamentals and look at a very simple chart. And that chart, my friends, is Bitcoin dominance. And we are going to do one thing and one thing only. We're going to put our free CC trending indicator on here, our CC EMA indicator. And we're going to look at our Minx and Parallax momentum indicator. But we really only need to look at our exponential moving averages. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. And let's just assume a couple of things. When Bitcoin dominance is moving up, Bitcoin is moving up and altcoins are moving down, generally. Generally enough that is certainly profitable just in and of itself to trade, right? You just go buy a bag of altcoins when Bitcoin dominance breaks its trend and go sell those altcoins for Bitcoin when that trend flips, right? And if you're able to catch better prices or more optimum prices using momentum oscillators, so much the better. Looking at Bitcoin dominance here, you can see, depending on what baseline you're using, 8, 13, 21, 55, the 200 exponential moving average has been acting as good resistance for Bitcoin dominance. But if we break above that, well, you saw what happened the last time some Bitcoin metric broke above a long-term resistance on the weekly time frame. So Bitcoin dominance in a clear uptrend here. We got some bullish divergence, regular bullish divergence right in this region. Now Minx hadn't actually bottomed out yet here on the weekly, but close enough. If we choose something like a 5-period look back, because we are on the weekly, we are so high. Maybe we catch that just a little bit better. We do catch it just a little bit better, but not extensively. Anyways, the curve is what's important here, and the direction the market is moving. So Bitcoin dominance in a clear uptrend, and as long as that trend continues, altcoins are going to likely broadly continue to move down, and Bitcoin is likely to move up in response. However, that has been the trend that I've noticed for a long time. That has certainly been the trend so far. That may change at some time, and we are going to have days like today where we just have big blow-offs, like big movements, and everything kind of moves up by association. So generally just about a green day. You could be holding just about anything. But don't forget, like the majority of the altcoin charts that we just looked at, where we're pretty much making new lows, right? So typically what will happen here on the daily is Bitcoin will stop, it'll run into resistance, move sideways, and then altcoins will run up. Now, that is true in periods of consolidation, not the Bitcoin bull run like back in 2017. If you guys go back and remember 2017, Bitcoin started flying when it started running up to 19,000. but altcoins were falling at that point in time. It wasn't until Bitcoin topped, and it wasn't until January, February, March of 2018 when altcoins then bottomed and then put in their monster rallies. So keep that in mind. So I do think that alts are going to continue to experience some pain. DeFi already got their beak wet though. So, you know, DeFi certainly captured the volume and volatility of summer of 2020. Just massive movements in DeFi. Fortunes made, fortunes lost. So it's possible that altcoins don't deserve or won't get a second rally this year. Because when DeFi took off, you know, like the altcoins that rallied in 2018, they didn't rally in 2020. A little bit, but not like they did back in 2017. It's because, you know, the mantle has slid to the new sexy thing, right? If you're not holding Bitcoin, you know, like trading altcoins is kind of like, if you consider Bitcoin your wife, right? You're certainly cheating on your wife if you're trading altcoins. And, you know, back in 2018, you were cheating on him with the sexy young thing then. That was your Litecoin. That was your Monero. That was your Decred. That was your, you know, your classics there. Now in 2020, though, you got your Synthetics Network token. You know, you've got your Uniswap. You're in finance. So, all right, so let's look at these requests real quick, and then I want to take a quick break to get some more water. I've got plenty of coffee, but altcoin founders will make billions. They've already made billions, my friend. How much more are they going to make? Probably a lot more. All right, so we're watching RSR, Avalanche, and Band for potential short entries here on Bitcoin. Of these, I'm looking at RSR the most aggressively, followed by Band, although Band is putting in the bearish activity that I would like to see here. Looking back to Bitcoin, though, real quick. Again, we are seeing, ooh, that's a big sell. That's 4.1 million to the sell side at 15.1. That was a biggin. Now it's getting absorbed right now, and we are actually flipping into positive volume delta. So this will be an interesting metric to watch, right? Because typically my bias with volume delta is that if volume delta is positive, then I consider that indicative that the bulls are in charge of the market and pushing price up. If volume delta is negative, the bears are in charge. But again, it could be that in this particular rally or right now, it's actually quite the opposite. So we could view it very much like we would view funding and backwardation for Bitcoin. And given that the case, let's keep our eyes on Bitcoin here. BitMEX funding and premium indicator and experimental settings. Yeah, we still have backwardation on Bitcoin's price as price moves up. I think this is going to continue. Yeah, so I am actually going to, before we go to break here, this is, let's see here. This is an hourly lower high. Sorry, I was looking at the ByBit chart there. I had pulled up in ByBit. So this is a hourly lower high. We can see it's a 5-minute lower high as well, of course. Let's get to the hourly over here. Is this the right time to add? No, it's certainly not. No, we are making a lower high, potentially creating a swing failure pattern there where Jason can make tidy profit. We are, let's see here. We are above our previous TP. So let's go ahead and take profit on this for now. We'll close our trade with a limit. Although potentially taking out mutual insurance here would have been more profitable. So we're just going to go ahead and take our win. All right, so what do we get? Exit price 15,104. So we will take $15,104 flat. $990. Nothing to write home to mom about, but depends on the percentages again. So blank is... So we've just added 0.33% to our account balance with that one trade. If we're able to achieve that 2 more times utilizing 1% risk, not just on Bitcoin, but across any other market, because we are trading on Binance as well, we'll be able to secure 1% per day. And again, if you guys can do the math, I do think that 1% a day is impossible. If you think about getting 1% per day, certainly there's been weeks and months in cryptocurrency where we've done more. On average, we do quite well. You guys can see it, results.crackingcryptocurrency.com. But shooting for 1% a day is not the right way. I think, again, trading well and not worrying about that and observing and reviewing the data at the end of a trading period and then objectively assessing it, not trying to, change things in the middle of things based on how well or how poor you're doing. Just figure out a strategy that works better than not. And if you're unsure, then just use $100. Just create a demo account. Just get in there, begin trading, and you'll start to figure it out. The less you press the buttons, the less you actually trade, the less you're going to trade. All right, so much to do, man. So much multitasking. I certainly could use like a third person. So let's look at Neo by request here. And in our general chat, Galvin says Bitcoin isn't scalable. Is that germane to the conversation? Clearly, market buyers don't care. Solar MKD thinks that it's going to stay in this range, and I don't mean that dismissively, but again, I think that Bitcoin can scale, is scalable. I mean, why is it not scalable? I just sent Bitcoin this morning. I had no problem. It was there in 10 minutes. Sideways and alts to the moon. Whee! From Mr. Chaos. CDC clean. I always say CDC clean. I always think CD clean, but it's CD clean. 17,000 or 11,000. Not sure. Got to pick one, man. Worth a medium pizza. Fed stimulation is going to shoot it higher. Or when the Dow hits 30,000 points. Possibly. These are all good ideas. If you guys want to chime in, you can chime in on the Discord, discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. All right. 216. Let's go ahead and look at our requests. Neo and... see if Jason was kind enough to put these in the audience engagement. No, just Uni USDT. Flow asks, so when my wife asks who I've been messing around with, I can just say Cardano. If you've been messing around with Cardano, man, it's kind of like if you're snagging Cardano when we go out to the club, you are definitely the wingman in training, my brother. Got to start messing around with Ethereum, get those numbers up. Mass adoption's around the corner. GBU Wally saying, excuse me, Bebek bro, but I'm the one who begs for Neo charts. Yes, you are, my friend. Let's take a look here. Neo on the weekly. Below all of our exponential moving averages here on the weekly, deep into a 1355 cross under, which would have been considered as fact back all the way back here in 2018. And man, this is just a chart that does not know how to make a spectacular high. Now, I will say this. We are at a pretty low price right now. We have held this level of support before. You guys can see that I have indicated this with these two white grid lines, kind of indicating a decent buy-in zone or territory, or at least area to watch price. Now, I always like to not knife catch. I like to see a sign of strength. So if we were to put in a candle, a weekly candle, that were to trade above the high of the previous weekly, just anything, any sign of strength, right? Then I would be more inclined to, that would be a better entry trigger than catching a knife. You have more success over time and less optimization per trade. And that is a good exchange to make. So, as an investor or looking for a positional trade, Neo certainly is in an attractive area. I mean, it doesn't get much cheaper than this, but maybe it can. Parallax has flipped weekly bearish. We are not yet in oversold territory. That's okay. Parallax was not necessarily designed for the weekly. Let's look at Minx. Minx, however, more sensitive, indicating that we are not yet in oversold territory per the defaults. However, this is with 5 too. So let's look at Minx defaults. It's going to be a little bit more conservative, I think. Not bad. Calling for the weekly short here as we close below that 13 weekly EMA. Minx, anyways, And yeah, just about into oversold territory. So I would say within a month, we would have a good weekly buy signal on NEO if we do end up bottoming in this area. Waiting for some sign of strength, waiting for that bottoming. Now, on the daily, this is certainly a knife catch. There have been no rallies. There have been no pushes to the upside ever since. I mean, it's just been a straight knife drop down since the middle of September. So again, when price is just plummeting and plummeting and plummeting, certainly when price is low, it's attractive to buy. But this is a knife catch, and I would like to see a sign of strength. So we do have a daily high here that we could take out that would indicate a sign of strength. If we can then put in a lower high, that would be the area to buy. That previous high is not 1165. So if we can bottom, form a higher high, the next higher low would be the one to enter into. Monitoring that buy-in area on the weekly and then using the daily to get a little bit more precise. I don't see anything here to do then on the lower time frames. There's really no need to even look at them because the weekly and the daily for me make this not something that I want to trade. So, or to the upside, right? So let's talk about shorting this. Do we want to short something that seems to be near the bottom of its cycle and nearing support on the weekly time frame? Well, certainly we can if the daily tells us we're in a decent position to do so. We are getting a continuation short signal on Minx on the daily. Let's see here. Following a nice take profit short, the last continuation short signal was, actually all of these have been quite good, particularly for dollar cost averaging, but this was the best one, absolutely. So we are getting another one right here. I would take low risk on this though, because, and the reason why is because continuation short signals are great, but you also have to be aware of the larger environment. I mean, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 continuation short signals following the primary short signal that we got from Minx over here. It is true that price can just go down, but when it's gone down for 5 consecutive signals now, it's like, maybe I'll skip this one. Certainly with the weekly getting overextended to the downside as well, becomes less likely something that I want to trade. So I don't really want to short NEO here on the daily. If we rally and form a lower high, then we'd short that, but we're just not in an area to take a trade here. If you want a knife catch, that's the only trade setup that I see here, but we are entering an attractive area to begin keeping NEO in mind on those higher time frames. But keep me in mind, because trading all that Bitcoin can get lonely. All right. 0-100 IOTA USD and Link BTC for decentralized citizen. Whoa, hello. All right, Link BTC first. Link BTC, the weekly has corrected all the way down to the 55 EMA. No divergence, no bullish divergence to speak of. Now I will point out that the 55 for me is an important exponential moving average. So is the 21. They really all are to a degree, but the 55 is an area where we can look for a bounce. We can look for something to trade. This is still, again, not necessarily a knife catch territory because we are still above the 55, and this is a pretty good looking correction, but the price is moving down. So let's look at what the daily would recommend or suggest. Yeah, after 1, 2, 3 taps on support there, we broke down below that daily 200 DEMA. This isn't something that I want to trade. In fact, I want a short Link. Yeah, this is a short setup, man. Look for, now we are oversold on the daily. So I don't want to short right now, even though it could break down, but I'm not a breakout trader. But I want to trade the next lower high. That would be the area to short, ideally seeing that same rejection again from that 200 DEMA. It'd be a beautiful short entry. I see you, agency. What up, man? There's really nothing else to do here on the daily for me. I mean, if your level of analysis, if your style of trading wants to long this, that's fine. We're just not there. I mean, it's not a possibility. We can get a bounce off the 55 EMA and the daily is oversold. So I do actually think the price will move up here for Link. But it's just not the trade to take. The trade to take is the short. We just broke down below that 200 DEMA, and I really need to see some pretty significant signs of strength here. Again, DeFi, or at least Link anyways. Sell the Ponzi, man. Sell the Ponzi. All right. IOTA, USDT. IOTA USDT is doing what I think Link is probably going to do tomorrow, actually putting in that correction, getting the take profit short signal today, and just grazing our DEMAs here. Oversold conditions on Minx, so that's quite obvious why we corrected. Let's see here on the weekly. Nice range here. But this does look like we're breaking down. Weekly continuation short signal, trading below these weekly EMAs. Looking slumpy. Yeah, we're going to rally to the upside here. But again, this is kind of a very similar setup that I'd look for, just like with Link, right? We broke down to the 200 DEMA. We consolidated for a little bit, traded a little bit below, traded a bit above, but we just made a lower low. Now we grabbed it for liquidity and we're going to rally, but the next lower high is the setup that I go for. So shorting IOTA, looking for that opportunity. All right. Blue box, ETH Bitcoin, let's go. ETH Bitcoin on the weekly is still breaking down. I know that we, again, Alex is excited about this one. We do see areas of potential support here because of the 55 EMA, and this weekly hasn't closed, and we are getting close to oversold territory. But we're just not there yet. We don't see the sign of strength, and we haven't seen the buyer step in on ETH Bitcoin. Now, ETH Bitcoin will be a good bellwether for altcoins moving up, I believe, and Bitcoin dominance shifting in trend, but I don't think that's going to shift right now. I do agree with what Alex said earlier in the week. I do think that altcoins are going to broadly experience more pain. We're going to have daily corrections. We're going to have 2, 3, 4, 5 days of price moving up, potentially, from time to time. But the trend is to the downside here, guys. So, oversold on the weekly, coming out of oversold on the daily, and just continuing to move down. Now, again, this is kind of that same setup, just like Link, just like IOTA. Here we go, breaking below that, down below that 200 DEMA. So what is the trade setup generally? Take the short on the next higher, on the next lower high. Yeah. Yeah, and there's really no reason to even go down to lower time frames because we'd be knife catching. All right, we got the request coming in now. All right, you guys smash that like button like you can ask for charts. Let's find out because we're going to switch over to this scene here real quick. All right. Oh, no, you know what? I didn't want it to go down like that. All right. If you guys are enjoying the content, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for joining me for today's live stream. We do, of course, I'm not even really paying attention, but because I don't have that up in front of me, but we do have people. Let's see here. Forgot to zoom in for this angle. There we go. Aha! You guys have seen the secrets, the background, where the sausage is made. Here we go. All right, 109 people watching on YouTube, 2 over there on DLive, 3 on Twitch. Shout out to all of you watching on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for the likes. If you guys do want to support the show, make sure to smash that like button. If you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure to do so. And again, I gotta say it because it's true. If you do not hit the notification bell, click all notifications, you're not going to get a notification. So we are going to be live here every single day. Let's see here. 20, thanks so much for the follow again on Twitch over there. And Amar222 and Metahan6668. Thanks for following over on DLive, my friends. Something that we haven't done for a while and that we should certainly do is... Wonder how I guess I go to my channel. Yeah. Let's put some lemons in here, guys. We haven't given away lemons in a while. Let's do a little 50 piece right here. Let's bring that up. Let's bring that up to 100. That'd be 17.7, right? Come on. Invalid amount. Oh, it's not letting me put in fractions. All right, so we'll just put in 18. Sorry. Invalid amount. Okay, was it 20? Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. There we go. So I'll give you guys throughout the break, if you guys want to pile over there onto DLive, if you guys comment or talk on DLive, you guys can catch us at dlive.crackingcryptocurrency.com. When I come back and open up the chest, you guys will get the rewards. That's how it works. I don't know. Listen, I still don't know after 2 or 3 years of streaming now. I'm not exactly sure like what to do on Twitch because that requires plugins and all that other stuff. The only thing I know how to say on Twitch is, you know, if you guys have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to the channel for free, but that helps me out, or that helps us out. That doesn't necessarily help you out. But again, does show the appreciation, helps out if you want, but gotta think of something fun for you guys. I will. We'll get there. We absolutely will. And YouTube, I've got nothing, man. All right. No jams. All right. We will put on some music, and we'll do some more requests when we come back. But before that, make sure that you guys are trading safely. If you guys are trading intraday, following along, it's an exciting day. It's always fun when Bitcoin's moving up, when there's a lot of volatility in the markets. But make sure that you guys are trading technically correct. Make sure that you guys are trading well and focusing on trading well rather than on being right or getting caught up in the enthusiasm. It's all fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but it's real money in the line. So for a lot of us, so be safe, be careful, and just kind of be careful how you treat people too, or what you say. A lot of heightened emotions, and this is situations. These are times when people can say the wrong thing, and people can kind of just take it too seriously, right? Maybe they just lost or had a big loser, and honestly, a lot of people right now who might seem like they're struggling with trading just need somebody to toss a blanket around their shoulders, tell them, bro, your strategy is fine. Just trade it bravely, trade it proudly. Let's go. When we come back, we'll see if we're going to get into another long on Bitcoin or whether we're going to actually follow along with Jason. We're going to trend flip. Tune in next time. We'll be right back, guys. And I am contractually obligated to do this. You guys can follow us on the socials if you guys like Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TradingView, and Facebook. We'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. This button? Nope. That's not it. We'll find it. No way. No way was I muted that entire time. You guys heard every beautiful, crisp syllable. Thank you guys for telling me I was muted. I am unmuted now. Got it. Sometimes there's too much to do around here. As I said, not good at multitasking. Most people are not. I did, so you guys can see here, enter just a few seconds ago, a second position on Bitcoin. Again, another $1,000 position. So you will excuse me one moment while I actually enter that into the trading sheet as well. Ooh, that's a feature that I definitely need to try and put in here. Just like, repeat previous. Entry price, 15,085.50. It is currently 15,103.50. We'll just say 15,098. And TP1 is going to be 15,296, looking for a slightly higher sweep there. 100%. And our stop loss at 3%, 14,623. And that's about it. 1% risk. So a $1,000 should have actually been a 1,001 position size. Even us moderators can't mute or unmute. Facebook touchdown! Thank you guys for letting me know. All right, so we've got some requests to do. Damian Hughes asks, where is my OnlyFans? Well, it's private. I can't say, I cannot confirm or deny whether I have an OnlyFans, but if I did, it would be private. All right, so I think that's the whole point of OnlyFans, right? I don't think I even know what OnlyFans is. Please tell me. Please enlighten me. Let's go to... Get off this. Again, we still only have the one position on Binance. That is the block stack short position that we entered at 1,000. All right, that's not it. Entry on block stack at 1,081 sats. Looking for that 983 take profit. We're still drooping lower to the daily low, but we're not quite there yet. All right, so let's get those sick beats playing, by the way. Here we go. I should do it right here. All right, cool. And we can play here. So let's play genres. Let's do electronica and dance. I have to put my headset back on for music, and then we can actually take some more trades. Cool. Not bad. Let's turn that down just a wee bit there. All right. Now on OBS, we simply need to do... Oh, it's coming in. Good. No, that's too much. Okay. All right, let me know how the volume level on that is now that I've optimized and adjusted a little bit. I don't know if anyone has, but if no one has not, it's a dope shirt you've got there. Thank you very much, sir. We do have SpongeBob and Patrick bringing it today. Am I not afraid of demonetization because of a copyrighted music stream? So I use nothing but royalty-free music on the live streams. Certainly, as I have streamed and grown in proficiency, let's say a little bit proficiency, as you guys can see, I have learned to pay for good quality stuff. So I have an account at Epidemic Sound, and that is all I use for the live streams. And because that gives us a license to anything that we play, we never get demonetized because of that. And honestly, we make like maybe $50 a month here on YouTube with ads, and that goes to what's the word I'm looking for? That essentially goes to put like summer sausages in our ramen noodles. That's about it. Tenacious V says, Jay, let's automate that journal. That's what we're in the process of right now. I'll tell you what. D-Live says the music's off now. Do you guys concur with that? Checking out Bitcoin here real quick. And again, we are getting on the 5-minute time frame here. A nice bounce and a continuation signal. We did bottom above zero on Minx. Time transformation. That is another indicator where we generally point that out more, but it is occurring here on Minx as well. That topping above zero. So this is a continuation signal, more aggressive than an oversold signal, but with the in conjunction with support there at the 55 EMA here on the 5-minute. Again, just a good area. And then of course I did see price start to move up. Let's take and check in again with Bitcoin volatility. See what we got going on. Still expanding, reaching that 50 level on volatility. So we're not quite to the danger zone yet. We might actually see a pullback with volatility here. Let's see here. Cannon Kontorovsky says, can I trade with Binance in the United States? Clearly, let's put it this way. Clearly, there are ways to do such a thing. However, I'm trying to think of what Rick said to the president in that episode of Rick and Morty. He says, to be fair, you guys aren't quite sure unless you are, where I'm actually broadcasting or streaming from, right? It could be anywhere. It could be Doctor Who up in this. $50 from GBU Professor Wally. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. He says, learn, earn, and don't get burned. Get you some sausages for your ramen noodles. Man, actual sausages? Wow. It's been so long since we've eaten sausages. Not since the vaulted all-time highs of 2017 have we actually had sausage in our ramen noodles. It's been a long time. Thank you so much, my friend, for your continued support. Shout out to you and Gunbot University. Make sure you guys go check out Gunbot. If you guys are looking at trade automation and Gunbot University, Wally does a fantastic job over there tutoring his students as well. Okay. We have volatility doing a little bit of a pullback here. If that continues, if we do correct from here, it's not significant yet, but price might lull for a little bit, which means this intraday setup we may have to close this one out. But again, the technical setup is good. We'll just watch and wait and see how it plays out. Meanwhile, let's get off of this Ethereum, we're not going to be trading Ethereum Bitcoin to the long side. Are we going to be trading Ethereum USD to the upside? We can simply look at the tether pair. Remember what we had talked about earlier? Price is forming that lower high on the hourly. And technically it is on Bitcoin as well, but I think it's going to, the volume and volatility for me anyways, is proving to be the case that I should be trading Bitcoin. We do actually have a breakout trade here on Bitcoin, and we are above that daily baseline on Ethereum, so we can look for those up trades. I just don't like us being this overextended. Bitcoin isn't. Let's see here, time transformation. We have that 30 period look back length, and we're still overbought with bearish divergence. It doesn't mean likely that price is going to correct if Bitcoin USD moves up. Of course, Ethereum USD will move up as well, but it's just not the right technical setup. So what I could do instead is, if I really felt the urge to trade Ethereum here on top of Bitcoin, well, I would want to pick, 9 times out of 10, there's no reason to do that. You can either trade Bitcoin or Ethereum. They move in the same direction. Thank you for pointing that out there, Blue Box Territory. They move in the same direction there, okay? And the only question is, which is more volatile? So I do not believe that we have an Ethereum volatility chart. And if we do, I don't think we have evol, do we? No. The old evol. Now, I'm sure I could find it if I went and looked. Tensor charts would probably have something similar. Let's see here. We've got open interest. We've got liquidations. We've got funding. No, you guys see tensor charts now for sure. Thank you guys, though. I did correct it, though. Jordeo Gorgel asks, what trading strategies do I use on crypto trading? Primarily daily time frame trending strategies. Currently, I am using reversal within the trend and a little bit of reversal baseline bounce intraday strategies within the trend. Interesting. Did you guys see that open interest on Ethereum there? That's a scary looking open interest chart though, huh? Let's get nice and zoomed out. We do only have the 1 minute time frame. I haven't upgraded my plan on tensor charts in a while. Haven't really felt the need, but open interest has been falling broadly this entire rally to the upside. Falling open interest, very much like falling volume, is generally bearish. It indicates that positions are being put on predominantly to the short side, and we can see that with the funding as well. But again, now we have like two contrary things. So yeah, let's go back and let's do our altcoin scan and see if we've got any kind of afternoon entries here. By starting off and looking at crypto market cap 2, which is the entire market cap excluding Bitcoin. Range bound consolidation. We are certainly more overextended to the downside, so trading to the long side here is probably okay. It's better than not. We are finding support in that band between the 55 and 100 demons, excuse me. Good points made by Don Candon and Scooter, both in the members lounge here. Don Cannon looking for that all-time high on fundamental reasons, and Scooter favoring more of the pullback. The other thing that we want to look at, of course, for altcoins that we talked about was Bitcoin dominance. Daily in a clear uptrend here, and again coiling because we're getting so pegged here on Minx. So we either need a much higher look back length or perhaps a separate indicator, where Parallax here was doing quite well, but again, even Parallax is getting pegged here on Bitcoin dominance. So again, all we'll observe there is just price action and our moving averages indicating that price is in an uptrend. So let's look at our perpetual indexes to try to get a feel for our altcoins and see what sector we should be longing. The alt perp index, which is going to be generally our broader altcoin index, encompassing everything, did just bounce off the 200 DEMA, putting in oversold conditions on Minx. Doing good here. So there is value in trading this to the upside, but again, I'd just be looking for a lower high at this level. So I'm not going to trade this perpetual index because there's only about 5% profit opportunity, which is certainly a good trade, but as opposed to the mid perp, which just broke down. So again, very similar to those setups that we were looking for on, what were the charts that we looked at earlier? We looked at IOTA, we looked at NEO, and I know we looked at one other one as well. We would be looking at shorting the correction. So we won't be looking at mid perp, and we won't be looking at ship perp, right? Ship perp is reaching that level of support that I talked about, putting in our first sign of strength. But what I want to see is price take out the previous high, and then we could buy the next lower low. But even with that, we could only really want to trade up here to previous resistance until we actually show an uptrend and a sign of strength. Exchange perp breaking down as well. So again, exchange perp in a good area to short, I think. I think we could put a couple more days of the upside here. So yeah, in general, mid perps I want to short, shit perps I want to short. So any shit coins, any mid coins, mid sat coins, and exchange coins, I want to be short on. Looking at the indices. So let's go to Binance and actually see if we have some trade entries. The daily looking not looking bottomed out, but not looking in an optimum area to enter. TRX Bitcoin as well. XRP Bitcoin falling off a cliff. ETH Bitcoin maybe less than the rest. Of those majors that I just looked at, certainly ETH Bitcoin is the better looking one there. And we're going to stick to BTC pairs. EOS Bitcoin making new lows as well. Link Bitcoin, probably the one to watch here. But again, we need to wait for that correction a little bit. We are overextended to the downside. Same with ONT BTC. We want to find something that is moving up. I know that Jason has an asset he wants me to look at here real quick. Stellar Lumens is the one that Jason wanted me to look at. Let's see here. We have a nice hammer candle rebound on the daily. Do we have some decent volume on that? We do. We do have some pretty decent volume on that, actually. Good buy side volume there. Just hit that continuation signal right in the face. Said, nuh-uh. Let's see here. But still, Stellar here in the same boat as the rest of the altcoins, making new lows so we can knife catch and buy these lows. But again, same sign of strength that I would want to see. Taking out this previous high, making a higher low. That would be a good entry right there. If we're forced to just look for volume, Monero looks like it's poised to break down even further, and I think that Monero is going to get sold into heavily as we continue moving forward. It's just not going to get the adoption that it needs. It's going to get banned on exchanges, and it's just not going to have much of a market. The community is strong and good. That's why it's fairly liquid, but as we can see with what's happening in China, the Chinese government going after centralized exchanges, and one of the reasons they're doing that is to get rid of privacy tokens and to seize control of as much of the cryptocurrency market as they can so that they can put it on their blockchain. This isn't a secret. This is pretty publicly well known. They're pretty much saying that's what they want to do. All right. Raven BTC. Oh, man, of all these, the Raven BTC also looks like continuation signal, but after so much downside. That big sell side volume too. I'm gonna keep an eye on Raven BTC. We'll come back to that in just a little bit. And now we're down to BUSD pairs. Yeah, so as far as Binance margin goes, not too much. Not too much opportunity. And remember when we were over here, I mean, heck, our biggest loser of the day was Loopring and Blockstack. Blockstack, which we're already short, and Loopring, let's check it out. That's a DeFi pair. Maybe we can short LRC. Let's go ahead and get off of Numenaire. Loopring BTC. So on the hourly here, we have rebounded just a little bit off that time transformation buy signal. We are consolidating and putting in a lower than the previous support. Be an aggressive signal. This would be a topping below zero signal. We are below the daily baseline. So short is the direction that we want to trade, and we are not overextended to the downside. Let's see here. Longbeard asked, should I take profit on my Bitcoin or just let it ride? I'm still crypto ignorant, but I'm learning. I'm thinking to let it ride. GBU Wally has a good answer here. He says, I don't really think anybody can give you legitimate advice to that question. Only you with your data, your information, your biases, history, risk profile, etc., can accurately answer. And he says, I understand. So I will go a step further. Wally, that's a really good answer. Thank you so much for stepping in there, my friend. I will say this. This is what I've learned. Everything that Wally said there is true and correct. Just one thing that I want to add to that is, and of course, Wally already said it, but let me just say it my way, I guess. Not really anything new. You know, you have to ultimately, you have to take a deep breath, look away from the charts, look at why you bought Bitcoin, specifically what your financial goals are over the next 5, 10, 15 years, and make the correct decision based on that. So for example, when you ask, what should I do with my Bitcoin? It could mean one of two things, right? Either it could mean that you are holding BTC and, you know, you're trading it also a little bit, maybe buying lower, trying to sell it high, trying to buy it back low. So you are essentially trading with all the Bitcoin that you have. If that is the case, then I don't think that's the right way, because you don't really get to enjoy hodling Bitcoin, right? So during rallies, you don't get to experience like the joy of holding an asset. You don't get that hodler's delight or the hodler's terror, right? It swings both ways. But hodling Bitcoin, I think, is important. I do think that for any individual anywhere in the world, having Bitcoin gives them a shot at financial freedom, gives them an opportunity to enjoy and engage in a decentralized economy. And the one that certainly, whether it's absolutely Bitcoin or not, Bitcoin will be a part of it, is going to be the replacement for the current currency systems that we see in the current mediums of exchange. And I think Bitcoin is going to the moon in the long-term scale. So Bitcoin is something that I think people should have. It's something that I would tell anybody to buy at any price. Now, if you're going to do that, what I do is I separate the Bitcoin that I want to hold and I develop an investment strategy. I do Money Monday. I buy Bitcoin regularly every Monday and just put that into investments. For trading, that is something different. For my trading account, I hedge it regularly. I sell into, I hedge with future shorts. I transfer it into altcoins. I do all sorts of things with my trading account. And with my trading account, I only do what I should do from a technical perspective, right? So to be a technical trader, you need to have some signal. In my opinion, that's the way I trade. I'm a technical trader. So I rely on entry signals. I rely on exit signals to tell me when to be in and out of the markets. I look at confirmation. And for newer traders, that can seem overwhelming to look at all these different things, but it's just simply saying when you're going to sell, under what conditions you're going to sell, and then sticking to that, right? So is Bitcoin is it a good idea to sell all of your Bitcoin at 15,120? No. Is it a good technical area to take profit if we form a lower high here on the daily? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. B-Flow says on the 45-minute chart, would that be a good example of swing high, swing low, swing lower high, going to a lower low? So swing high, swing low, swing lower high, going to a lower low. So a shift in market structure is what we're going to be looking for. Let's get off this and go back to our trading view chart. BTC USD. Let's do it doesn't really matter what chart we do it on, but you want to look at the 45 minutes. All right, so here on the 45-minute chart, we have price making a new daily high, yes, and then it forms a low, and then this will technically be a lower high once the current candle closes. Per my definition, right? Remember, a swing high any high, right, is defined as a higher price, a higher high, and then you need 2 candles on either side with lower highs, okay? Ideally, it looks like this. This is kind of our classic shooting star pattern, right? Where we have just a very clear, you know, standout high candle, right? With 2 lower highs on either side. That's a shooting star pattern, but it's not always clean like that. Sometimes it looks like this. But if we, excuse me, an easier way to think about it too is also, if we continue to rally right here, would this be a technical swing high? Yes. But would it really be a lower high? No, it's not a, how do I put it? I would say that it's kind of like pornography, right? I can certainly define it, but I know it when I see it. This is also one of the reasons why things like market structure, things like price action, they're more fuzzy, they're more subjective, and it's harder for traders to build objective systems. This is why I prefer and put more capital into technical systems, and this is definitely the path that I recommend for newer traders, particularly those who have been trading less than 2 years or who have been profitable for less than 2 years. You know, it's one thing to say you've been trading for 2 years. It's another thing to say that you've been profitable at it for 2 years, right? If you've been a profitable trader for 2 years, then that means you can get a job trading. It means you can get people to give you money to trade on their behalf because you're a good trader. If you've been trading for 2 years and you've been unsuccessful, well, we typically don't promote Bob at the water cooler, right? But if price were to continue to move up here and make a higher high than this, then I wouldn't really consider this the way that I wouldn't consider this in the form of I try to identify a trade setup as a higher high, right? Or excuse me, as a lower high. Now, what we do see right now is, yes, this is the lower high from this, quite obviously. And if we do turn down from here and make a lower low, you would be absolutely correct. The jury is still out on this one. Certainly for at least the definitional aspect where we need 2 lower highs on either side. We need to wait for this candle to close about 38 minutes for that to happen. But yeah, so if you are kind of like I took that aggressive entry on the 5-minute time frame, if you don't think that Bitcoin is going to make a higher high today and you're looking for that intraday short, then this is the area where you're like, okay, cool. Is this my setup? Is this where I want to get in? And certainly on the 5-minute chart, this might be. Yeah, so we just had it right over here. Let's look at the 5 minutes. See how we have far more bars in between our swings? We have our low, we have a lower high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high, and we currently have unclear, right? You know, when the swings are nice and clear like that and you're on your way to the next movement, these are tradable areas of the market, far easier to trade because the swings are wider, the percentage values are wider. And under what conditions is that true? Under what conditions is it easier to trade Bitcoin when the swings are well defined? It's when volatility is high, guys. It's when volatility is high. So going back over here to BVol, as we can see, Bitcoin volatility has been on the rise after getting pretty close to our 0.21 bottom there. It's been on a tear to the upside. And when volatility is quite high or rising, it's easier to trade on an intraday. Subtextually asks, do I buy Bitcoin every Monday regardless of price? No, I don't buy Bitcoin every Monday regardless of price. What I do though is I do purchase an investment asset every Monday regardless of price. Currently, that is actually Ethereum. I'm not going to lie. That is Ethereum. I've been buying Ethereum for the last 2 weeks now because I do think that with Ethereum 2.0 coming out, I certainly would like as much Ethereum as I can get. And it's a little bit, it doesn't really matter. I was about to say it's a little bit cheaper, but that really plays no part. Yes, when I invest, I dollar cost average. I don't care what the price is. I average in over long periods of time. I've done that on Bitcoin since 2016. I've done that on gold. I've done that on silver. I've done that on my dividend stock account. Don Can, that I'll have you know, when I have a breakdown, it is magnificent. Subtextually asked, would it be a good idea to actually take a percentage of my paycheck and invest in Bitcoin on a regular basis instead of in a 401k? I don't want to tell you whether investing in a 401k or Bitcoin is the best move for you specifically. If you were asking me, absolutely. Yes, I do think it's a better investment opportunity and idea to invest in Bitcoin over what you could invest in a 401k. However, in a 401k, you have lots of opportunity that you wouldn't necessarily have, or securities or protections that you wouldn't necessarily have investing in Bitcoin. To be quite honest, I think that you should probably do both, right? I think the best option is going to do both. Now, whether a 401k is the right investment vehicle for traditional finance for you depends on what, let's see here. Damien points out a very, very good point, saying that if your 401k offers a matching contribution, so if you allocate let's say 3 to 5% of your paycheck to investment, right? Which is a small amount, right? A lot of, I come from the FIRE community, financial independence, retire early. And in that community, like we're really shooting to invest 50% of our salary, of our income into investments, right? Most from the FIRE community choose stocks, but many have chosen cryptocurrency as well because of the returns that are possible. So now I know that sounds like a lot, but the reason why 50% is because those individuals are looking to retire within 5 to 10 years. And you can just do the simple math, right? Like if you invest 3 to 5% of your account, it's going to take 30 to 35 years before you can reach retirement, depending on when you start and depending on how old you are. Again, these are just kind of basic fundamental or investment facts that we have to consider. So either you need to increase your amount or you need to invest in riskier assets the older that you get, or the less amount of money that you can allocate to investing. So, but yes, absolutely. Setting aside and allocating for sure 100% a certain percentage of your paycheck each week or each pay period or each month or each year, however you want to do it, to investments is definitely the way to go. And you write that rule down. I would recommend doing that in conjunction with a budget, with being frugal. That's how, these are all the things that I did. I went from being working in and then being a supervisor in a factory to moving into professional trading and now being a private investor and trader. And listen, there's a lot of things that can happen when any individual explains like how they got to where they are. But when I was working, I absolutely took advantage of my matching contribution and utilized what my company offered me, because that was for the longest time the best opportunity, because they were willing to match me up to 5%. So I could get 10% into my 401k with them by investing 5% of my paycheck. So absolutely a way to go. And in a 401k or in a Roth IRA, you can invest in Bitcoin and achieve a lot of, so first off, you can start up an LLC, and you can create a Roth IRA with an LLC, and then you can invest in cryptocurrency that way through an exchange. You can self-direct your IRA that way, either an IRA or a Roth IRA. There are different tax benefits to either, so make sure to investigate exactly what you want. But that's generally kind of the way to go, is to have a self-directed Roth if you're doing it for retirement purposes. This allows you to get a lot of tax advantages at the expense of not being able to cash out when you want to without paying a large penalty. So GBTC and ETHE is definitely an offer. It is definitely an opportunity. I would recommend looking at the different premiums and looking at the locked out periods as well for investors who invested in GBTC and ETHE, because that is a fundamental that we don't necessarily have in the crypto markets. We have different fundamentals in the raw spot cryptocurrency markets, but when it comes to those derivative or basket products, they trade a little bit differently. Well, I've got the members lounge open here, Don, I see Don was pensive. So listen, I apologize if that wasn't quite clear, Don, but earlier in the members lounge, you were talking about being quite bullish on Bitcoin and how you expect us to make new highs this year. And Scooter's like, nah, man, we're going to correct. And then, Scooter comes out and he's like, nice breakdown, because we put in a few, red candles. I was basically saying just call him out of his name. Why don't you? Sometimes tone doesn't come across on text. All right. let's go to those requests, because unfortunately, guys, I'm just not seeing altcoins that are really worth trading. Unless we want to be aggressive on loopering here, and I am pretty sure, cannot confirm though, that we can't even trade LRC with a margin on, but yes, we can. 5x. Isolated margin. All right, let's do it. Here we are on LRC BTC on the hourly. We've got some consolidation here. I don't want to see us make a new high. That would be the area to add to. So I'm going to do a split position here. So I'm going to go ahead and enter 50% of my position here. And I'm going to set a limit entry for another 50% fill above the previous high. I'm expecting that we kind of shoot up, or listen, I'm preparing for the opportunity or the event in which we actually double bottom here to an extent and continue to push up. That way I can grab that liquidity and that better price, move my average entry up to about 831, and then I'll set a stop loss at about 5% on LRC. What's our daily ATR? Percentage. So we'll pull out Quadriga as our primary position sizing tool. All right, so we've got our average true range on the daily is about 12.64%. So actually a 5% stop loss on loopering is actually pretty tight. With something moving that wildly, we'd either want to use 1 or 1.5 ATR, or at least 10%. 10% is a pretty good stop loss on altcoins, but we're going to go ahead and do 5%. All right, so over here on Binance, we've got LRC, BTC pulled open, and we're going to go ahead and first off, we're going to calculate our position size. So we're going to do, can I share this screen with you guys? Yes, I can. There we go. All right, so we'll just stick this right here. All right, so we do have a little bit more, but we'll just say 1,000 on deposit at Binance there. So we want to do a risk percentage of 1%. It's going to be an intraday trade. Our entry price here is going to be 823, and we're looking at a stop loss. Looking at a stop loss of 5%. So that would be right here. So a 5% stop loss would be 864, and we're looking for a. Do I think we're going to get 10% to the downside? Not really. Let's go for 7%. 0.07. Sorry. All right, so 765. All right, so we're going to have our stop loss at 864. And that gives us a position size of about $200. A 5% stop loss, $200. All right. So now we'll go ahead and get rid of that. And we've got our Binance open here. So we've gone ahead and opened the isolated margin pair. We're going to transfer collateral from our spot wallet into LRC BTC. So we have some collateral. And we're going to transfer. We don't need to do 0.01. We could do 0.5. Actually, I don't need to do that much, but I think that's all we actually have available. Let's do 0.051 divided by 14,900. About $759. We don't need about half of that. 0.025. Sorry, 0.025. Sorry, guys. Multitasking and math. I love it. All right, so now we've transferred that BTC in here. We're going to borrow a loop ring, and we can borrow 9728. 9728 loop ring. It's going to put us within that liquidation level. And let's see here. LRC. I'm actually pulling up a trading view chart here real quick. And just because it's a little easier to do. LRC. Whoa. LRC USDT is currently trading at about 12.42 cents. All right. So 200 divided by 12.42. Or, excuse me. Need about 1610 LRC for the correct position size. So we'll do the 2000, live a little dangerously. So we'll borrow 2000 here, and we are going to sell normally. We're going to do a market sell for the total amount of LRC. So we'll just jack this up to 100, all 2000. We'll sell the LRC at market price. All right. Did you do the thing? Hello? Waiting. Going through very slowly, I feel like. All right. I think we got it. So we'll wait for price to get lower on LRC. We're going to set our stop loss and our take profit here. And then we will buy back the same amount of LRC for less BTC, return it plus interest, and then keep the profit is how this is going to work. All right. Binance margin. That's put this in my trade entry journal here. And yes, nuisance. Short. Let's see here. I don't like how just checking. Yeah. Borrowed 2000. Just not showing up in my trade history. Let's actually just give the page a little refresh. Thank you, Subtextually. Have a good day. Thank you, Alex Bowler. Are you guys actually the same person? As left at the same time. Coincidence? I think not. Here we go. Order history. Amount. Oh, okay, cool. So we did sell 2000 LRC for an average price of 820. And we've got our TP1 at 76539. That's 765. And our stop loss at 864. Okay, there we go. I got that posted there on my trade sheets. Profit there and profit here. And now all I need to do is go ahead and set a limit order. Normal for, what do we got here? 864 on our stop loss will be a stop limit trade. And our take profit again was, I apologize, 765. $765, and we need to purchase back 2000 LRC plus, let's just assume for 3% interest. So let's go ahead and do 2060 just to be safe. And then we'll toss the whatever's left of that 60, keep it in our wallet, and we'll let it roll over. Yep. So we'll buy that there, set that limit order. And we're also going to set a stop limit order at 865, I believe. 864. And since we're going to be purchasing at a worse price, we don't actually need as many LRC, but it will certainly be fine. We'll set that stop limit order right here. Suppose we could just do the repay option, couldn't we? Yeah. So we will just select 2000 LRC with the repay option on that stop limit order. Yeah, that's actually a little bit of a shortcut, isn't it? It's good. All right. So we've got our take profit and our stop loss on LRC BTC. We now have 2 intraday trades. Really, the stacks trade has turned into a little bit of a swing trade because we opened it yesterday. So we've got stacks and let's go ahead and star LRC BTC. And let's go visit our starred pairs. Avex Band, Loop Ring, yes. Nano, I don't think we're going to be seeing an entry here for a while. Numenaire, no. Stacks is good. Avalanche and Band we're looking for entries on, as well as RSR. But Numenaire and Nano, we are going to go ahead and drop. Am I still holding Funfair? Look, man, I swear to God, if Funfair can't even put in a partnership announcement here, I quit. Ooh, nice move from Bitcoin here intraday. And, only spent 30 minutes just sitting here. Oh, I didn't open the chest on DLive. You guys are absolutely right. Thank you so much for reminding me. Let's do it here, guys. You guys have been chatting over on DLive. I see Harvey TV, Cancer Sticks. Chatting it up. Where's the rest of you over here on DLive? Rock UK donating some lemons earlier. Harvey, thank you so much for that follow. And then let's go ahead and do distribute rewards. Nothing like cold coffee here. But it's good coffee. If it's good coffee, you can drink it cold. If it's like Folgers, it'll be piping hot to even like get it down the gullet, you know what I mean? All right, 7 seconds to distribute these DLive rewards. Yeah, let's go look at traditional markets. Contractually obligated to mention. Let's see here. We are, of course, trading on ByBit and Binance. If you guys want to trade on those exchanges, if you guys want to help out the show, you guys can check out the... I know with ByBit, you get $90 margin bonus. If you use the link in the description, with Binance, you as well get... I think 10% off fees. I'm not sure what Binance does anymore, but those links are in the description if you guys want to check them out. Help us out, as well as smash the like button. One of these days, you know, I think I'll probably just pre-record that, like on my soundboard, right? So, for example, let's see if I can actually get this to work. Let's see here. It's been so long, I forgot how to record on this thing. I just hold it down, right? Yeah. So I record, I hold it down. And then I press it. Right? Clear. Cleared it. Join us for live trading beyond. Ha ha ha. Let's see if it works. No? No. At least these work.
We do have working audio here. As Bitcoin pushes to the upside here on an intraday surge, we have just taken out the previous high and we are going smoothly and swiftly for that second take profit of the day, 15,296. Are we going to make it, guys?
Having a little bit of fun once in a while. I swear, I'm going to get the stream deck set up this weekend. We'll have even more fun here. All right, let me get the Binance chart set down because you guys are looking at TradingView. I am not. I want to get to the requests that I had seen on our audience engagement tab. Neo we looked at. Stellar Lumens we looked at. 0100 asked to look at IOTA. Take a look. No, we already looked at this earlier. So on the daily, making a new low. Ooh, are we? Yeah, we are making a new low on the daily. So over in knife catch territory, I know Philly from Manchester over there in Cottonopolis, he was talking about IOTA because of its partnerships. And if you guys recall, back in 2018, really back in 2017 too, IOTA was a partnership beast. You know, IOTA's got that tangle going on, but so far has not been able to generate enough air to keep its price off the ground. But of course, it doesn't need the price, right? They got rich talking about some tangle thing. And it was probably, you know, not a bad idea in the first place. I'm sure IOTA is just full of wonderful people in the community. But technically, as a trader looking at this area, because we just put in a new low, I'm inclined to think that price overall trends more to the downside. There is a possibility for a bounce here because we just grabbed liquidity below that previous low. So there's a lot of people who would set limit orders there and a lot of people who would look at this chart and want to buy it. You know, I'm not going to lie. There's a reversal trader inside me somewhere that just wants to buy this chart. But the technical trader that I've become tells me to wait for some entry trigger or sign of strength. Now, we can see that with a momentum oscillator, either giving a line cross in oversold territory or crossing back above our oversold threshold. Or again, as I've said many, many times, something that I like to see is taking out the previous high and then putting in a higher low. It's a good indication. Nice hammer candle on the daily. So potentially we will see a reversal here, possibly back up to about 1884, maybe even all the way back up to 2000 sats, but not really the trade that I would want to look for. I would still want to be shorting this on any lower high. Yeah. So IOTA, not a good buy-in area. And honestly, I know this is like not the best thing to say, but if you're holding IOTA at this point, unless you just bought recently, you definitely don't want to sell the lows. We'll likely rally from here and you can have an opportunity to get out of something that you thought might have been a long-term position at a better price. But yeah, after, you know, if you've held it for any period of time, when something's just made a new low, honestly, it's probably just better. It's generally just better as an investor to just wait it out. Sometimes you have losers, sometimes you don't. What am I going to do after the Bcash hard fork on November 15th? Probably the same thing that I do on November 14th or November 16th. Bitcoin Cash's fundamentals don't affect my daily trading life too much. OGN BTC. I know Saeed Bilal had asked for this quite a while ago, and I apologize for the wait, my friend. So again, Origin looks just like that IOTA chart. We are pretty overextended to the downside on the daily. The weekly, again, looks very similar. We are making new lows on this week. Of course, overextended. There's not enough data here that I'm going to justify calling this bullish divergence. So we'll just come down to the daily. Again, asset making new lows. I'm inclined to consider the fact that it continues making new lows, especially given my bias on the altcoin market in general. This is a mid sat as well. Oh, actually, it's a low sat now. Below 1,000 sats qualifies as a low sat for me. So not anything that I want to trade. And Ethereum I looked at as well. So let's go look at traditional markets and FOREX now, as well as our precious metals. So we do have, yep. So we're past the daily close here on traditional markets. So let's go see how the DIA ETF ended up closing. So we do see over the last few days, nice rally in the Dow on the heels of what seems to be the fact now that Donald Trump will retain the presidency of the United States of America. So just in general, the natural inclination and natural bias playing out, markets are responding positively and gapping up. This is considered to be good news because Republicans are fiscally conservative and are generally considered to bring a strong economy. There is some good evidence, certainly over this presidency, to enlighten that as well. However, again, we do have late stage empire behavior. So we do have wealth inequality, or at least the perception of wealth inequality, as one of as a serious topic on at least half of the country's mind. And certainly what is immediately evident to anybody, and it's not who's president or whose policies, although to a degree it is, but to a larger extent, it is the detachment of I think, societal bonds of people's ability to communicate and form strong communities and societies and provide for one another. And secondly, a large part of this is technological unemployment, planned obsolescence, the transition to a digital economy, right? It's very difficult, and there just is going to be this painful period of transitioning individuals who aren't equipped with the skills to succeed in a digital economy and a digital world, i.e. anybody that can't code, anybody that can't utilize computers very efficiently. And more often than today, like more often people who do not know how to be entrepreneurs in some way, shape, or form. You know, like the idea of acquiring a job from somebody to pay you for a task has gone predominantly to the gig economy. And that's a trend that's going to continue because of the way that the world is moving. The ability to create your livelihood behind a computer screen, internationally even, you know, as many individuals have done, as I have done, is a trend that's going to continue, right? So if the majority of individuals have the skill to earn their living from home, either selling their labor or doing their own thing, and either way, providing value, then more individuals are going to do that, and less individuals are actually going to go out to work. So could I talk about Bcash, higher time frame for 2 seconds, says agency? I didn't know about it. Let's go take a look. Let me finish the traditional markets here, and then Bitcoin Cash we will move into. So on the daily here for the Dow, we are breaking back above the 55 DEMA. We're not overextended to the upside, but that gap is a pretty big move up. I think we're going to continue here in traditional markets and Bitcoin as well, just looking at everything. Looking at the weekly, we did correct down to the weekly 55, bounced right back up. We've got static. I know this is just part of the song, but let's get... And Squeaky Tadpole got all the lemons, by the way, over there on DLive, 101.9. Wow. No hate. No hate. Let's see here. Last half hour of the show. Well, you know, technically we're going long, 30 minutes, but... Feature base. We'll go with this song. And I think once we get to the conclusion of the song, we'll start to wrap it up. All right, so the Dow on the daily looking good. Creeping here into negative territory, but if we were to cross back up on Minx, that would be a good entry trigger as well. In a bottom feeder right there on the weekly as well, the previous weekly close. Let's see here. Bottom feeder DCAing into this position on the way down. And actually a bottom feeder on today's daily close, suggesting the Dow up to 290. So I think we're going to make a new high on the Dow. I don't see anything to suggest that we wouldn't. ISA spot buy signal right here at the bottom on this curve. Just very beautiful. Now, another way to consider this, of course, let's not get too excited. We are potentially going to make another lower high and another lower low, right? So we are broadly trading in a descending channel. We've got our lower low and our first lower low here. So this is the channel that we're currently trading in. Let's see if we can get a breakout. Then we could take the trade to the upside, or at least kind of about the 50% of position at 290. Not, you know, looking at this a little bit more now, not the best trade, but not terrible. I mean, I would not fault anybody for getting into a position on the Dow. It's not what I'm going to do. Let's see here. W potential top pattern on the QQQ, which is kind of odd because you often see the M pattern at the top of the market. The M is a reversal pattern. The W is a bottoming pattern. But again, kind of the same thing on the NASDAQ, lower high. So far on the daily, but gapping up again on the news. So overall, traditionals are in a risky area. You're buying resistance and you're expecting a blue sky breakout. So again, kind of the irrational area of the market where people make mistakes. Same on the SPY. These look identical. All right, so broadly, I think we're going to continue to see upside on the indices. We need to watch and see what the daily close looks like tomorrow, see if we get any kind of rejection and a confirmation of a higher high, or if we're going to put in that lower high. As the markets open up, I wouldn't be in a position. Let's look at our precious metals. Gold rallying, coming off of a double bottom lower high on the daily here. Have we had enough correction here for gold? Well, look, we are making a higher weekly high. So what do we normally want to wait and do? either wait for a pullback on the weekly or more likely a pullback on the daily. Or again, this is a nice high volume, strong candle body close. Got about 20 minutes for the daily close here on ZAO. And so we could take a breakout trade on this. Bottom feeder catching this latest dip beautifully. Only about 50% of the way through. I know that's a lot of volume and that's a big candle, but that's tradable. So let's pull open. Yep, that is a gold long. So let's go ahead and highlight that. I think I want to get into that before the end of daily close, actually. I am going to be going long on ZAO USD. It is worth it. It is the safer asset to be in. Palladium, no. Silver as well. Let's hold up on silver and not increase our risk on essentially the same setup. I won't be going long on silver. That gives me an opportunity to either buy a pullback on silver if I get a worse entry here on gold, assuming that they correct and then move up into the weekend, or excuse me, starting open on Monday if tomorrow is a correction day. And if we continue to break to the upside, then then I'll get the pullback on silver and add when I add on gold. XPT, no. All right, so we're not even going to look at the rest of the CFDs. We're just going to keep it to precious metals and give you guys a quick update on my Forex positions as well. Actually, we don't really have time for that. Let's go ahead and we'll do Forex tomorrow. Let's just check in with our open positions here before we go ahead and sign off for the day. Do our hygiene here and start winding down. And Bitcoin Cash, I got you, my friend. Oh, we just barely nicked it. Here we are on ByBit, where we do have our second position in for the day. Take profit at 15,296. We just missed it. We are, of course, short on LRC BTC. Just entered into that trade with our positions open. And we did have an entry at 820. Price is now currently 813. Very moderate profit on that so far. But again, do not expect it to happen in one day. J14. I don't know why that BTC trade isn't closed. That's interesting. Maybe it's because I tried to put it in at the same time. I'll take care of it later. For the premium members who do see that lately. It's a good point, Don Camden. I like to see how bad I am as opposed to other traders as well. All right, so not much to do there. Blockstack is still in profit. And let's go to our BTC USD chart here. And let's throw on Bitcoin volatility. We talked about this, right? I just mentioned this. Here is that B-vol. We're starting to slug off a little bit, move sideways. And what's price doing? It's kind of slumping. It's not putting in that same exciting volatility that we had come to know and love. All right, so the 1 hour though, looking like it wants to make an attempt for that higher high. Still holding the long. Let's drill back down to that 5 minute. And what do we see here, guys? On the 5 minute, I know we see the ISIS sell signal, so we might correct even the 13, but we're in backwardation. I think we're gonna push, man. I think we're gonna push. Uni looking good. Uni looking good. You guys don't hear the music? No way, man. And how high does it got to be? I've been jamming to the music this whole time. No way you guys don't hear the music. You guys hear it now? Oh well, it certainly made me trade better. Yeah, so here on the 5 minute, we are a little overextended. We are getting some some rising in volume, which often occurs at tops and bottoms, but nothing massively significant. And if anything, that backwardation leads me to be aggressive here. We might blow through this. We might blow through this sell signal on ISIS spot, or continue to push. So my money's going to be on the push until we actually take out a low, as long as we're making higher highs and higher lows. Jake Rezio, where do I buy my dividend stocks? Charles Schwab is the largest brokerage account that I have. Following down from that, I do have funds on Webull as well. I enjoy purchasing on Webull because they have, because they're seamless, they're easy, they're quick, it's on my phone, and Robinhood as well. If you want to check that out, I know that throughout, let's see, until November 11th, by the way, guys, if you guys are interested in traditional markets and you do not yet have a brokerage or an account or an exchange to play around on, if you guys open up an account at Webull before November 11th and deposit at least 100 USD, you will receive 3 free stocks. I think they're valued, I'm not sure what they're valued to, but it's free money. It is absolutely free money. So you guys can use the link webull.crackingcryptocurrency.com. If you guys would like to go register for that account, get those 3 free stocks, you need to deposit 100 USD to do so. And again, that's only available until November 11th, if my memory serves correctly. All right, guys, it is about time to go. I think we're all good here. Bitcoin Cash is the last thing that I want to look at for my friend over here. BCH USD. Let's just look at the price on Coinbase, although Kraken would be a little bit more appropriate. But, BCH USD on the weekly time frame is, I mean, according to this, I mean, let's just look at this. The 55 weekly EMA has been some pretty stiff resistance. We rejected here. We did trade slightly above, but we didn't really make it. Rejected here, and where are we at again? Rejecting here. Now, overall, it does look like we're entering into consolidation. What can follow from that? Either further breakdown or actual accumulation and push to the upside. I don't see the long-term signs here that we have either or. I like to see price above the 55. Want to see the 13 above the 55 as well, and then we'll be in an uptrend. We have formed a higher low on the weekly. We are forming, though, a lower high. So again, indicative consolidation and not clear market movements. Range trading strategies are going to be okay here. But let's assume that we do want to take this to the upside. We are overextended on the daily, on the daily. But again, same setup here as IOTA, as everything else that we looked at. Look at that breakdown below the 200 DEMA. The setup here is to short the correction. We are coming right back up there. I do think that we'll probably get a day or two more of push, but I would want to short Bitcoin Cash moving into the weekend. Yeah. Trunker saying, if you ever publish my results, hey man, it's a two-way street, my brother. Call me sometime. They're like, Justin, publish those results. Hug me. I'm the kind of, listen, if you want something done, you got to beg. You don't have to beg for it. I'm sorry. You got to push for it, you know? So yeah, I'm sorry. I don't really see anything here. I don't really see anything here exciting, guys, on BCH USD. Uptrend, consolidation, in the beginning of a breakdown. Could we get continuation here? Yes, but we did just make a lower low on this. We took out this uptrend, so. All right, let's go ahead and kill the music. That's a good one. I'm downloading that. Ooh, boy. All right. Nice long stream. Let's head back over here. Ooh, and of course, the Logitech webcam settings. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin as we wind down here. I want to thank you guys who made it through the 2.5-hour stream. I see Jake Rezio, Damian Hughes, GBU Wally, Crypto Jack, B-Flow, Tenacious V Agency, Blue Box Territory. We've got Martha, Martinez, Jimenez, and Ann Cap Futures. I didn't look at the Forex pairs Ann Cap. I'll post an update for the premium Discord here in just a little bit. Hopefully prior to daily close, I should get it in right at or below. I want to take a brief break and then come back and perform my evening scan for Forex before we get into too late into the evening. we've had a good show. Some good trades. We had our first winning trade on BTC USD earlier, securing. Let's see here, risking 1%. I'll have the numbers and the statistics tomorrow. I do see that I need to come over here and tidy up the trading journal just a little bit. I want to thank the premium members who came by yesterday for our community mentoring session. It was a good session. It was a good session. We talked about fundamentals. We talked about intraday strategy, and it was just a good. It's a good talk. Good chatting with my friends. So make sure if you guys are premium members that you're taking advantage of that. Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and potentially what we could do is we could for those who if that is an inconvenient time for some, let us know in the suggestion box or just overall in the members lounge. We do have enough analysts that we could schedule another one at a more convenient time. All right. So traditional stuff here, guys. If you want to support the show, if you enjoy this content, make sure to show me that you do. Make sure to show us that we do by smashing the like button. That does help us more than you know. Share the link because sometimes we get shadow banned. And if you guys put it on your social media or if you guys tweet it or whatever you guys would like to do, helps out. And if you want to make sure that you're notified every single day, on YouTube, you have to hit the notification bell and enable all notifications. Otherwise, you're just not going to get pushed and told that we're going live. Otherwise, we are here live at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time just about every single day. Monday through Friday is the regular schedule. Today, we started at 1 and went a little bit longer to compensate. As well, you guys can follow us on our socials. We're over on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on TradingView. We're on Facebook. And of course, you're watching us here on YouTube. If you're on Twitch or D Live, you can support us with a follow or subscription. And if you guys want to improve your trading, first thing you need to do is make sure you join the Discord, discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. But other than that, you guys can stay up to date and look at the courses, the materials, and the lesson plans, in addition to the indicators, the signals. We do offer a lot of content, and we have quite a dedicated team. You guys can find more information on that at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Until tomorrow, guys, trade safely. Remember, this is a tense time in the market. Don't be too cocky. Just don't be an asshole. All right, be a good trader and focus on trading well. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.